Hi, Francis, Patricia, and Bedouin. Can everyone hear me? If you could just do a yes or thumbs up, that will help. Oh, good. Thank you, Tammy. And hi, Tammy, Francis. Hi, Miss BB. You're all my pals. You're my YouTube pals that I see in the comments all the time. And this is great. I love it. Hi, hey, Delky, BSS. See if I forgot to say hi to anybody. Hi, Patricia, Bedouin, Francis, Tammy, Miss BB, Heideke. Awesome. Well, bring on your questions. Oh, I love you too. Thank you, Miss BB. Hey, Eddie. Welcome. Eddie has a great channel, by the way. He lives in my area, a few towns away, but he also is in Eastern Antioquia and also spends a lot of time in Medellín. He has a great channel. Hi, Elaine. I'm so glad you joined too. Hi, Gilma. Well, whenever anybody wants to hit me with a question, feel free. I'm an open book. I wish everyone that I could show you, which is over. Oh, everything is mirrored. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, out my window is just the most gorgeous day. But what happens is if I turn the camera around so that the background is my view, it is so bright that then my face would be in the dark. So I don't know. You guys can let me know next time. Maybe you don't want to see my face. Maybe you want to see the view. Anyway, so that's why I'm kind of turned around here. Oh, Patricia is asking, is it safe living there? Well, one should always be careful, just in any country in general. First and foremost, you have to use your good logic as far as, are you going to be in the city, in the country? What are the crime rates and things like that? And use good common sense. But I can tell you something about the particular area that I'm in. It's known as Oriente de Antioquia, practicing my Spanish here. And it is about 35 to 45-minute drive, depending upon where you are, from the city of Medellin. It is known, I coined the phrase, the Hamptons of Colombia, or the Hamptons of Medellin. This is where celebrities live, retired dignitaries, government officials. It is so safe, I cannot even tell you. I go out and about, and I film my videos with an iPhone. And supposedly in the city, those can be pickpocketed right and left. I've never had a problem. I have Petunia on a leash and my iPhone, you can imagine. Sometimes I have someone with me to help, like Huli or Johan. But no, I've never felt threatened in any way here. All of the communities are gated, absolutely beautiful. So I don't have any fear whatsoever as far as safety. And thanks for asking, Patricia. So let me scroll up and see what kind of questions we have. Eddie's coming back. He's shoveling. Oh, Tammy. Yes, you did sign up for and consult with me. And I do want to tell everybody, I set them up as an hour consult, but I have always talked to people for a minimum of 90 minutes at no extra charge. So I'm a talker, in case you guys have never noticed, and you're going to find out today. I just talk and talk and talk. So on my consults, I want to make sure that everyone feels like they have all of the answers that they came to the consult with, and then some. So if we go off on tangents, and it happens all the time, I also want to get to know you really well. So that takes longer than an hour, and I don't mind at all. So what did Tammy ask? Okay, traveling back and forth a lot with the dog, I don't recommend it. I just think it's a lot to put them through, even though it's only a 3-hour flight back to Florida for me. Petunia's really up there in years. I didn't want her to have to go to a kennel. And I have the sweetest, really good friend, neighbor. who's Colombian. She lives here in my building, and she absolutely adores Petunia. And sadly, her little dog recently passed away. But I used to watch Dante, and she always watched Petunia for me if we travel or just go out for the day, things like that. So I've used that on some of the trips. I've used that. Maritza has watched Petunia for me on some of my trips, so that's come in handy. But going back and forth, what you can do is look at my video on how to bring your pet to Colombia. There is some paperwork. There are proof of shots, things like that. You have to have an exam within a 7-day period, blah, 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 blah. But all of those details are in that video of mine, so just check out my channel. Lynn is asking, where would be a good place to start a hostel? Plus have a Shih Tzu to bring. What's the cheapest and best airline from Canada? That I can't answer as far as from Canada, Lynn, just simply because I fly from the US. But I would imagine they're all competitive from the US. It costs around $100 to have your dog in the cabin. And I believe it's more if you have a larger dog, and that you have to put the dog in a kennel and it goes beneath the plane. So just check with the airline. That's super easy. That type of information is usually not on Kayak or whatever, app you're using to look up the flight, but you can just call their 800 number if you don't see it on the website and see what the fees are. And as far as a hostel, I've never heard of a hostel here. And I can guess why is because things are so inexpensive. There's really no need for a hostel. There's plenty of economical places to stay very inexpensive hotels if need be. It has to do with the type of luxury level that you want. But if you want just the basics, you're talking next to nothing a night. So that's probably why there aren't hostels here. So Bedouin says, first time watching and considering Colombia. Thanks for sharing. Well, awesome. And Bedouin, just take a look at my videos. I give so much information on this whole area where I happen to be, which is just southeast of Medellín. But also I talk about Medellín as well and Colombia in general. It has so much to offer. Yeah, Eddie is saying to make sure you check that your airline that you're asking about to bring your dog has pressurized cabins. Absolutely. I'm just not big on flying with animals. I think it's super stressful for them. I just don't really believe in doing a lot of flying back and forth. But as far as bringing your furry friend, your dog or your cat here, and then making arrangements with a friend, relative, close neighbor that you've gotten to know, that type of thing is a good idea. So let's see. Oh, I'm so glad you asked this. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Joel Dis, but I'm just going to say Joel because I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry, but hi and welcome. Hi, love your channel. For health reasons, trying to use AC is needed, low humidity and avoid mold. Do you use sheetrock for the interior construction, wall and ceiling, or full concrete? I have seen, not in my region because it's not necessary to have AC. I've never seen the units, but you could research it in the city of Medellin. It's very common. These high-rise buildings, people have added AC even into the concrete block. It's not, definitely not an issue. The other thing that you might look into for health reasons is just simply an air purifier. There's very little humidity where I am. I've never had a problem with it, but if you need to monitor the levels, you could get a dehumidifier and possibly an air filter of some sort. That's if you have allergies, but it doesn't sound to me like that is the issue. It's just such a perfect climate here, but I'm sure there are ways to do that. And if you want to set up a consult, Joel, here's the other thing about my consults. Anything that I can't answer, I research and I will talk to construction people for you, whatever I need to do and get your answers, especially if you're considering, buying a resale, say apartment or house or new construction. I can get all those answers for you. And then I always make a list of things I can't answer in the consult and I'll email you all my research back. So that's included too. Eddie's saying hi to last flight out, and that means that is there a question? Oh, you must have asked Eddie's on one of his videos a question, so I don't know what that question is to answer it to. David is asking about Colombian taxes. What I like to do as regarding taxes is really not give any advice at all because I'm not an accountant. But what I can say to everyone is always, always have an expert in no matter what it is that you embark on in Colombia, and also on your visa, healthcare, any of these things, taxes. You want to have professional help you. So as long as you have a professional accountant, CPA in the United States, and the same thing here in Colombia, you are going to be pleasantly surprised, is what I can tell you regarding your tax liability here. There are some generalized rules. People get really worried about double taxation and all these different things. But if your accountants prepare things right, then you're not going to have issues. And your liability will be nominal compared to what you're reading online. So that's the most I can answer it. I am an art person. I'm not a numbers person. And I am not the one to advise on finances at all. You also can book with Huli, my concierge, and she has two of the best accountants, one for businesses and one for personal, that she refers people to, and they're always super happy. She's been working with clients for almost 13 years now, setting up everything for them, including their visas and things too. Petunia is the name, Coach says. Petunia is a great name, yes. I love her name. Okay, now Shane. Hi, Shane, and welcome. Would you like Colombia as much as you do as a newcomer if you would have been born or grown up there, or you have longed, or would you have longed to move to the United States? Wow, Shane, I am a really deep philosophical thinker. That's a very, very heavy question. And I think that, and I'm going to be absolutely honest first and foremost, to tell you the reasons I moved to Colombia. And I'm not shy about it. And the number one reason was financial because I was retiring. And unless I worked till the day I die, which I don't care to, uh, I would not be able to afford to stay in the United States. So that was reason number one, and so many other reasons other than that. But with that in mind, when you flip flop that, and if I was born in Colombia, it would depend upon my age. At my age now, I would have no desire to go to the United States. It's just too expensive. I'm sure I would have an enormous friends and family network here. And the Colombian people take care of their family and their friends. No one is left in their elderly years unassisted. So I think that if I were born here, I would at this age, I'm almost 68 this year, that I would not opt to go to the US. Oh my gosh, what a great name. Coral Petals. That goes well with Petunia. Hi, Coral. You say, thank you for your videos. You're welcome. Can you easily find pasture-raised organic eggs and grass-fed milk and butter? For health reasons, I need to fit these items in my budget. Yes, you can. One of the things that you can do too, especially if you're out in my area, is we have some organic farms are actually here. I mean, you can see them, you can see what they're growing, see their chickens, see all of that. And that's what I would recommend. But Some of the markets, and particularly the larger chains, do have those types of things. And there's even PriceMart, which is just like Costco, right in Medellin, that has a lot of products that are in the US as well. So I just love the local farm that I go to, and the eggs are amazing. And the other thing that you can do is just buy eggs. I mean, there's fincas all around me, and the security guards, in fact, there's two gates to get up my road, two security gates. And at one of the gates, the guards sell eggs because one of their parents has a farm. So if I were concerned if they were grass-fed and not in cages, I would just ask. But you can always investigate that and find your sources here, that's for sure. Oh, and as far as budget, Coral, things like that, things that are farm grown are like, they're so cheap, they're almost free. So I wouldn't worry about it. When you get into the supermarkets, yes, some things are more expensive than others, but just about everything is less expensive than the US. And many, many, many things, particularly things that are made in Colombia, are at a huge discount, well under what you would pay in the United States. Oh, hi, Veronica. Welcome. Veronica asks, if you don't have a car in your area, are there services in your area? Yes, and I'm in an extreme situation. For those of you who've seen my video, I'm almost as high as an airplane. I'm up this mountain road, remote, although it is a gated community and there are fincas all along the way. Those are farms, but they're more like estates. The Uber drivers don't particularly like to come up here. They're all over the place, and there's public transportation on all the main roads. I'm just not on anywhere near a main road, and I'm not taking that mountain road of mine down to catch a bus. So I ended up buying a used car after I got here because this was the apartment I fell in love with, and I worked it into my budget. I bought an extra small apartment, got the view I wanted, got the transportation I needed because I wasn't close to town, and all of that. But most people, and I have many expat friends here that don't have cars, so it's really not necessary. And the Ubers are so much less expensive. I mean, just unbelievably cheap all around town. And all the little pueblos that are around here have Ubers too. So that's not an issue. Hi, Michael from Los Angeles. You're so cute because you always say Michael from LA. I love it in the comments. And I lived in Los Angeles. I went to university out there and I stayed there a little over 20 years. What are you asking? Let's see. Michael from Los Angeles says, I wanted to ask you if you ever checked out Manizales when deciding where to live. I was going to, and then I decided not to because I came to this area first and fell in love with it. And what made me decide not to go there, because it was way up there on my list, was I loved it so much here. I'd seen on videos that the terrain is almost identical. I mean, these gorgeous mountains, green, 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 anything grows, absolutely fabulous. But there is no main international airport there that I could fly back to Florida to see my family, which I do at least 3 times a year. I'd have to connect in Bogota and all these, steps along the way. So I decided not on that area. But the other main reason, and this was living in California so long, that's earthquake country. I live far enough north that sometimes there's a very mild tremor, but there are no major fault lines up here, fault lines. So Michael, I was just tired of the whole earthquake thing. And then after that, I went through a pretty major one in California and then so many hurricanes in Florida after that. I was just sick of the natural disasters. So I thought, no real convenient flights. I'm in earthquake country, and that's why I ruled it out. And everyone, when I say things like what I did, that doesn't mean that's what you should do. And it's the same thing on my videos too. I'm just telling you my life, what I did, what my preferences were. But my gosh, I mean, Manizales, that whole coffee triangle area, and I do plan on visiting. It's definitely worth checking out. Don't be, exactly like me. If you're drawn there, go check it out because you might love it enough that those other things aren't an issue for you. Okay. David asked if there are any Catholic services in English. Not that I know of. And I'm actually not Catholic. I was raised Episcopalian, which is basically Church of England, which is the Protestant version of Catholic. I mean, they're priests, even though they can marry. It's super formal. They're bishops. The service is absolutely identical. So, and I've been to Catholic services in the US too. So when I'm in a Spanish-speaking service, except for the sermon, I really, I follow along. I know what's going on, and so it has not been an issue for me. But my guess would be no, but possibly in Medellín, because there you have a big city and many churches. It's possible, but there's not a huge expat community where I think an entire church, Catholic church, would devote to that. I don't think there are enough people, but that's worth checking into in the city. And maybe Eddie would be able to answer that. Eddie's still here. Are there any Catholic churches in the area, Eddie, with English services in English? Female Feline. Wow, I love your name. Love your channel. Would you say getting a tourist or a residency visa? Okay, well, I'll quickly explain the difference. A tourist visa is good for 90 days. You can renew it for another 90. So basically, you can stay in Colombia for 6 months max. Doesn't have to be consecutive, but 6 months maximum per year. So I wanted to be here longer than that. So I got a migrant visa, and there are different kinds. There's a retirement one, there's an investor one, meaning you bought an apartment or house or started a business. Those visas, after having those types of visas for 5 years, then you have residency. So really just comparing a tourist visa and a residency, there's that big jump of 5 years in between. So that's a necessity too. Female Feline. What does Eddie have to say? Oh, he's sorry that he had to run outside. Was anything directed to him? I was just asking you about church services, Eddie. And John, hi, John. Love your high quality videos. Thank you. I had another panic attack, guys, because the YouTube live like 10 minutes before, I couldn't figure out what I was doing. I am not experienced at this, John, like at all. And my videos are done on an iPhone. And I was too afraid to use it. And I'm not a spokesperson. This Hollyland, these are little magnetic microphone things, but I was so afraid, and AI couldn't even answer me. I was so afraid, what if the battery went in the middle of the live stream? Like, can I actually change the mic in the YouTube settings in the middle? And I got some different info, and I thought, don't risk it. So my whole experience doing this, John, is just trial and error, and I really appreciate the compliment. But I do know what looks good. So I do a lot with editing just simply because I know, oh, that looks bad, or the camera kind of tilted. So I chop those parts out. But thank you for saying it looks high quality. I appreciate it. And these cell phones that they make, I have a later model iPhone. The cameras are amazing. I mean, unless you're doing like major cinematic stuff, you really can't tell the difference between that and an expensive camera. So I'm totally happy using my phone. Okay, and John goes on to ask, what are the top things that I don't like there? I actually made a video on that, and there's really not much other than what I would consider minor things. I would say one of the most difficult things would be the language barrier. I am trying my best as a senior citizen. It is really hard to learn a new language because our short-term memories aren't as sharp as they used to be. So that's been an issue. I would say because of that, it's been really hard with things like, even though I have websites translated, like my bank account, the app, and the website itself doesn't translate. Sometimes I just have to ask for help. And that's as soon as you arrive, you should join, or even before, join Facebook expat groups, get to know your neighbors. They can help you with so much. Oh, this is how the website works. Or sometimes the translation won't work. Like I think I'm in the right section to do something and I'm not. So language, I would say, is number one. Number two would be just the websites and bureaucracies can be pokey. The area I'm in is so progressive. I mean, I can't even tell you. And you can see that in my videos. I mean, it's just amazing. The architecture, the infrastructure, the highways, I mean, everything is great. When it comes to like paying bills, websites, things like that, oftentimes they're just not working. And I think they don't have the staff. What's that called? Tech team? No, it's I can't IT departments maybe aren't as well staffed. I don't know, but there are times when I go to pay a bill on time, like my electric bill, and it's not accepting the payment. And then Huli Franco, my wonderful concierge that helps me with everything, and she's there to help you guys. She says, "Oh, Nana, that just happens. Just try it the next day. You know, just try it for a few days. It'll be fine." I actually went 2 months not being able to pay my water bill, and she said, "Oh, don't worry about it. By law, they can't turn it off. The Colombian government won't let people be without water or electricity," which is kind of cool. But anyway, and she said there won't even be a late fee. But finally, after 2 months, I could pay my water bill. So it's little things like that, John. Not major things. The other main thing would be missing my family back home. I mean, that was a big leap for me to do. And I do come and visit, and my kids, they're adults, are going to come visit me very soon, actually. It's coming up around the corner here. And so that's a big deal too. But I do have a video. It talks about other little things that are different in the culture that may be bothersome for you. I just let them roll off my back because there's so way many more benefits than those things are. Okay, I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody's questions. Let's see. Hi, Ron. Ron and Tammy are in Georgia. Hi, Ron and Tammy. Mosquitoes are a huge issue here in the summer. Do you find it's a problem in Colombia, especially where you're living? No, not at all. I mean, there can be one occasional mosquito. I'd say in 18 months, I've maybe had 2 mosquito bites. I've never had to spray off or anything on me. It's not a high humidity area, and the temperature is moderate all the time. There's no stagnant water around, but it's mostly that humidity that creates that breeding ground, I think, for mosquitoes. It's why it's so bad in so much of the US in the summer. But no, they aren't an issue here. Damien is asking about crime and safety. Damien, just if you don't mind, just watch the replay at some time when you have a moment. I also have a crime video because I don't want to repeat myself. But this area that I'm in, I am not concerned about crime whatsoever. So, oh, I'm like so tech challenged. Somebody just sent me $5. That's so sweet. Oh, I think it's Miss BB because I see an M and I'm looking down. Thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm so bad at this, guys. I'm trying. Okay. The mosquitoes. Okay. Coach says, And gosh, Eddie, you're gonna have to. I wish you were on voice right now because this is a city that I don't know how to pronounce, and I don't live there. Recently, I did a short so that I could say the city where or the town that I live in properly and the state that I live in. I got that down, but I'm going to butcher this. Coach says Pereira. Oh no, I'm told to pronounce every vowel, so maybe it's Pereira. Pereira is known as the smaller version of Medellin weather-wise. Yes, I have heard that, Coach. So again, low humidity, spring-like weather year-round, absolutely. And I don't know who this is. John, thank you. Thank you so much for the $10. That's so sweet. I really appreciate that. Oh, Eddie is saying, yes, YouTube Live sometimes makes us run for our lives. It does. I was like sweating it because I thought it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. And the countdown was happening. And anyway, it ended up working. Oh, Cisco says there's some minor popping sound in the audio. I was afraid to use my microphone because I thought it would run out of battery. So I am just talking, guys, on my MacBook. So I hope it's not really bad. Please let me know. I'm afraid to scroll down and see what you guys are saying because then I'll lose my place answering questions. Daniel, thank you so much for the message. It's in Spanish. I wish my Spanish were better at this point, but unfortunately, I can't understand your message. If you want to send it again, just use a translator and send it again. I'd be happy to respond. Hi, Elliot. Elliot says, have you noticed in the past 18 months that rents in Medellin area have gone up anywhere from 20 to 30%? Also, what's your thoughts on the dollar now? Dropping about 10% in the last 18 months. Well, let's address the dollar. I made sure I looked into this before I moved here and I looked back for 10 years and the graph just kind of goes like this. But generally it fluctuates like between maybe 3.7 and 4.3, 4.4. That's why in my money video, I always say just use the 4 when you're looking at a price. So if you see something that says 100,000 pesos divided by 4, it's $25. Well, right now we're in a little bit of a dip. So, and I don't have my calculator out, but instead of it being $25, it might be more like 26. You know, it's not a huge difference. There have not been major ups and downs with that. So it doesn't concern me. And actually, and you know, I'm glad I got the apartment that I got because I love it, and I don't even care that I overpaid. So what happened was when it came time for me to decide this was the apartment I wanted, and I had to transfer my money for my deposit. I should have waited to see if it kind of went up a little bit again, the dollar value. Instead, I just transferred everything into a brokerage account here into Colombia when it was on the low end. So yeah, it's just food for thought. But you know what? Every day I look out at that view out there, and I'm just like, I don't care. You know, I was probably I'm don't know numbers, but it's probably a couple $1,000s or something I lost. I have no idea. But that's out of 165,000. I mean, it wasn't a big amount of money, and I'm just glad I got this apartment, and I'm just grateful that I have it. So, but good question. Oh, Damien says it's my mic. No, I have this, but I was afraid to use it because I thought it might run out of battery. So this is just the mic on my Mac, and I use this mic when I do Zoom calls with you guys. I use it all the time. So I'm going to scroll down. Can everybody let me know if they hear popping? Earth Girl just said no. Oh, thank you, Miss BB. Okay, good. Because I have a decent laptop, so yeah, it should be okay. Aw, female feline. Oh, thank you so much for your contribution. I appreciate that so much. That's so sweet. I know you're a cat lover. I love dogs, but I love cats too. I just love all animals, but definitely dogs and cats. I've had both in my life. Um, Maybe I'm scrolling too far down. Coach is talking about um, the humidity in Panama. Yes, in Panama City and all those beautiful, towns up and down the coast, they're on the Caribbean and they're at sea level just like Florida is, and they're further south, obviously, than Florida, closer to the equator, so they have the same amount of humidity, if not more, which is huge, and then it's hotter there too. So you're basically running your less seasonal, it's that way year round. So you're running your AC, year round. It's pretty hot and humid out. But Panama does have mountain areas. Do keep in mind that Panama is more expensive. You have to have it in your budget to be able to afford to live there. And the mountain area called Boquete is expensive to rent or to buy there, and the groceries and everything. I mean, I shouldn't. It's still a savings, compared to the U.S., but it's not near the amount of savings as Colombia is. Let me see if I can find out where I left off. Coach says that I wish you guys could help me with the pronunciation. Peria is also highly walkable. You can walk for hours in all directions. So that means it must be fairly flat, even though it's elevated, which is a nice plus. And people ask me about that, whether the pueblos themselves are walkable. And believe it or not, they are, because these pueblos are old. I mean, they're historic. They're hundreds of years old. So when the initial settlers came from Spain, when they're seeing all the terrain, they're going to look at a place where they can have farms, they can have their downtown area, they have space to do all of that. Because there is a variety, even when you're in the mountains in Colombia, you have all these high mountains, and then there's leveled areas in amidst these mountains. So that's where the pueblos are. Now, Medellin is a huge expanse of flat. It's quite large. It's surrounded by mountains. But interestingly, and it was a smart move as far as development. Developers decided with, for instance, the neighborhood of Poblado, and I'm just guessing, I didn't ever research this, but this is just my hunch, is they were saying, oh my gosh, the view, if we just go up that mountainside there, we can get top dollar. I mean, these units are just going to, oh my goodness, my goodness. So the development, I believe, started going up the sides of the mountains. So you have neighborhoods, for instance, in Poblado that are gorgeous, but I mean, it's like living in San Francisco. I mean, you get a hike walking to the grocery store and back. The incline's intense. But in these areas out here where I am, that's not really done as much. Now I'm up a mountain, but there's not a lot of development up here. So most of your Pueblo areas are going to be walkable, but to find an entire city that's unusual. And so that's a good thing to hear. Oh, Samuel, that's a really good question. Samuel asks, what is the safest way to buy an apartment? I'm worried about getting scammed. Well, let me just explain some basics about buying real estate in Colombia. First and foremost, there is no MLS system. And there is so much government bureaucracy here. I just can't believe that there isn't more with the real estate industry in itself. So anyone can be a real estate agent. And a lot of homeowners just sell their own place on their own. So what is customary here, and I highly recommend it to the point of like insisting on it, is that both parties have an attorney. And what the attorney does in the case in Colombia is They are doing all the work. Well, even in, I bought a house years ago in South Carolina. They don't use title companies. They use attorneys for what title companies do. So, but what this attorney is going to do for you in Colombia is they're going to do everything that a title company would do up front. They're going to research and make sure that property is free and clear. They are going to check out the person that's selling it. They're going to make sure all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, everything is clear and free to go. And that's even before you send your deposit. Now, if what your worry is your money safe moving it? Yes, as long as you use a reputable brokerage firm. The one I used is Alianza. And if you look at my money video, it has a green money bag on the thumbnail. I explain the process. Alianza has an office at Citibank in New York. They're a huge brokerage firm. They're like a Merrill Lynch. And they charge a small fee for transferring, as there always is going to be. But you can do large amounts of money with them, and it has to be through a brokerage firm like that, because the money has to go through what's called the federal bank in Colombia. And the reason that Colombia has that is they only want clean money. They have spent decades now making sure that this country is clean and spick and span. So everything gets checked out. Even we foreigners get checked out. We get FBI checks. Our money is checked that it's clean. All of these things. So, and I respect that. And I don't mind abiding by that at all. And it actually gives me peace of mind. So you use a brokerage firm to answer your question, Samuel, and your money's safe there. It's in an escrow type of account. And so when it's time to give your initial deposit, when your attorney says everything looks good, you can do your 10% or 20%, whatever down now, whatever you work out in the contract, which, by the way, your attorney writes the contract. Or actually rewrites it. The initial real estate agent might, in the case with me, my real estate agent made a lot of clerical errors because she was new at it. So fortunately, my attorney caught all of that, got everything clarified. The whole process was super safe, super fine, super normal, and foreigners all the time buy property in Colombia. And as long as you do it the right way, you're not going to get scammed. Everything's going to be fine. Hi, Lisa. Lisa says, thank you so much for everything you share. I really enjoy learning from you. My question is, did you consider Panama? If so, what made you choose Colombia over Panama? I just said that a minute ago, but it's two things. The cost of living is higher, and the heat and humidity. And they do have a region that's in the mountains, but that's very exclusive and even more high end and fairly remote. Where I am, I'm 35 minutes from an exciting, exhilarating, wonderful city. And I'm also in the countryside too. So for those reasons, combined, I chose this part of Colombia. Eddie is chiming in. Yes, Eddie. Yeah, El Retiro, Eddie says, is top notch. It definitely is. This is a luxury, high end area as far as Colombians are concerned. There are celebrities here, foreign diplomats, not foreign, but Colombian diplomats and government officials, even former presidents have homes here. I call it the Hamptons of Colombia. So there's safety-wise, it's great. Price-wise, if you're on a really tight budget, all you have to do is go out a little further than where I am in the countryside and just not be right in the middle of I'm going to try my Spanish. El Retiro. El Retiro. So I'll say it butchering it so that those that don't understand my accent can understand. El Retiro is the area where I live. There's also Rio Negro that has a very high-end neighborhood, Llano Grande, but it also has a very affordable, two very affordable neighborhoods that are lovely with new construction. I mean, really good deals on apartments. Gualanday and also San Antonio. And you can go out even further to El Union or El Union, La Ceja. Some outskirts of there are less expensive. So there's the full gamut out here, but this little bubble that I'm in is definitely top notch, as Eddie says. Um, and he's saying that the town that I live in is the best one, in his humble opinion, regarding being close to Medellin. Rio Negro is not a town, but just to be clear, but a small city that's growing very well. And yes, it is. And there's wonderful neighborhoods, as I just mentioned, in Rio Negro. And all of us are close to the international airport too. It's not in the city, which is true. It's outside of the city on the other side of ridge of mountains. And so for us, it's like quick, easy, 30 minutes. If you live in Llano Grande, you might be 15 minutes from the airport, but I'm about 30 minutes away. And I'm not in a flight pattern either. If you live like right in Llano Grande, right next to the airport, the planes land close. But what's really funny is that's a super high-end neighborhood. There are huge estates there. And maybe it's a Colombian thing. Eddie can answer that. But I mean, I've driven by some fincas and stuff out by the airport that look like, remember that show Dallas years ago? Remember that estate, like with the long, long entry, not even a driveway, but a road and then the mansion at the end. That's what these houses look like. But literally, I mean, the planes, if this is the house, oh, I'm so bad at this. If this is the house, like the planes are like this, getting ready to land. And a lot of these places have views of the runway and stuff. So, and there are restaurants that overlook that. So maybe it's just kind of a Colombian thing. Like you go to New York City and, you land in Queens, it's not like the best neighborhood. And that's true with a lot of airports. They're kind of off the beaten track and kind of funky areas. Uh, Oh, Eddie is talking about elevators. In Antioquia, the state that Eddie and I live in, for an apartment building to have an elevator, it has to have 5 or more floors. That's the law, but I live in a 3-floor building and there's an elevator. So, yeah, so you just have to kind of check out, each building. I think most newer construction, my place is like 5 years old, are gonna have elevators, and especially out here because it's retirement central. And that's not really for expats, there aren't many of us, but for Colombians. So people want elevators because they, don't wanna have an issue as they age. Rick, hi, Rick, is saying it won't make a difference that the language is Spanish in the Colombian churches, and I so agree. I did a video at the Knights, as in KNIGHTS, at the Virgin Cathedral that they are just finishing the construction on. They have services. It's just right next to me. I can basically see it out my window. An enormous cathedral, and it is so beautiful. And every single pueblo, no different than what you find in Spain and in the piazzas in Italy. Every town has a town square, and at the head of the square is this magnificent church. So yeah, you feel close to God in these churches, even if you don't understand every word of the service. And as I said earlier, the Catholic service, it's going to follow the exact same things that you're used to. So even though you're not understanding the words, I mean, some of our English roots are similar. You're going to know along the service like what part it is and what's going on for sure. Oh, and I just lost it about rents going up, and I apologize. That was someone else's question. I answered their first question, not their second, and I'm sorry, I'm not acknowledging who you are because I hit my computer and I don't know where it is. But that saying that in Medellin, the rents have gone up 20 as much as 30%. Yes, that's true in some areas, and rents are going up here, as well. It's just, it's true in the United States too. I mean, this things happen, but Medellin in particular has an enormous amount of tourism, And for that reason, and probably that reason alone, the prices are going way up, and attracting, foreigners coming to live, and also that Colombians are doing better. I mean, there are just incredible amounts of professional Colombians, and that's always been the case, but even more so. And amazing universities here, all of that. So there are Colombians that can well afford the increase too. It's not simply because there are a handful of foreigners moving here. I just don't believe that 100%. Globetrotter, I answered the tax question earlier, so if you wanna watch the replay. No, they're, up to a certain point, your Social Security is not taxed. You're allowed to have a certain amount every year, and if it goes over, there are deductions and different things that a good accountant here is going to get you all set. You don't have anything to worry about. Just hire an expert here, get a good accountant here, and a good accountant, in the US, and you'll be fine. Larry, hi Larry. Speaking of pets, what is the animal welfare like in your specific area? Are there a lot of stray dogs, cats running around? I hadn't considered Latin America for that reason. I see enough in New Mexico. Um, I have been outside of this area in some small historic pueblos, and I've seen a lot. I've not seen a starving dog. I've seen what appears to be just people just let their dogs just roam all day. They're well fed, they have collars on, but there's just dogs like everywhere. That's not the case where I live. Again, I am in, by US standards, a super, super affordable place. By Colombian standards, I'm in a luxury area. So everyone has their dog on leashes. The types of dogs here, tons of pedigree. Dog rescues are a big thing. So you see a lot of rescues that people have, and there are great organizations here for that. But I would say, like every other shopping plaza that I see has a pet store in it. I'm just like, pet food, this, that. Beautiful collars, beautiful dog beds, cat scratching. I mean, all the Colombian people, and again, this is in this region here. I can't say for the whole country, but here are really, really into dogs and cats and horses. There is the countryside here, and people that own property almost always have horses too. Unbelievably gorgeous horses that do. I used to ride, and it was called dressage, which is a French word, and I don't know the word in Spanish, but it's like that Royal Lipizzan type of footwork that they do and everything. It's just amazing when there are parades and that sort of thing through the pueblos, and you see people riding these horses. It's just magnificent. Oh, Marina is asking about the beaches. Are they calm and warm year round and or have large waves? Well, the beaches, unless you're on the Pacific, and I haven't been over there, but my guess is on the Pacific is no different than in the US. When you're on the Pacific, you have, way more wave activity than when you're down in, well, I shouldn't say, because the Atlantic has it even down in Florida. But my brother used to surf. Like the surf in Florida stinks like tiny little waves. You go up further north, they get much bigger in the northern states. Of course, they have to wear a wetsuit. You go out to California and they get like, whoa, ginormous. So to answer your question, most of the beach areas like Cartagena, they're on the Caribbean side. So it would be very warm water, very warm weather, and not much wave activity at all would be, I would say in general, most of those areas. Oh, Robert's telling me how to say it. Oh, that's right. Yes, and I've heard it, but it doesn't sound like what it looks like where I'm told to pronounce. So it's Pereira. Okay. Okay. How to remember that. Thank you so much, Robert. Coach Pereira. Okay, coach is saying something else. So I'm gonna have to have my language tutor help me with that word. I gotta learn how to say it. Um, oh, Eddie said I said, "El retiro" perfectly. Thank you, Eddie. Okay, Denise. Hi, Denise. Denise has a question. In a previous video, you mentioned that Colombian food is very plain, though healthy. I'm a foodie. Is there a gastronomy culture you enjoy? Oh, it's huge. I mean, I'm just saying if you go to a local restaurant that serves Colombian food, it's not like Mexican food. It's not super spicy. There aren't like real unusual marinades, things like that. The flavor of the meats and the fish and the chicken and the eggs are so good. They're lightly salted, they're not big on pepper and not much more than that. So when you cook at home, if you wanna add spices and things, you can, but that's just the Colombian restaurant. And I have come to just enjoy that. I love staying on a budget, and I go to these, menu de dia restaurants. A lot of them don't even have a menu. It's just a menu de dia of the day, and they serve the same thing for lunch and dinner. It's a huge glass of juice, guava, orange, whatever, fresh squeeze, a big bowl of soup, and then whatever the entree and sides are for the day. So it could be some ribs, it could be a big breast of chicken, side salad, rice or potatoes, sliced avocado, and Colombians always have a fried egg, and that's a Latin thing. I know it's true in Cuba too. The eggs are delicious, but my area, Medellin too, but my area to answer your question, oh my gosh, I mean, like every type of food on up to like really incredible chefs, if that's what you're looking for. So Italian, there's sushi, Lebanese, Indian food. I mean, just whatever you want. So you're not going to be lacking in variety in the region that I'm in, and nor will you be lacking in Medellin. Oh, okay. Coral Petals has a good question. Do apartments and condo buildings have condo associations with fees? Who pays for upgrades such as roof replacement, structural issues, or fresh exterior paint? The HOAs, which they call the administration in Colombia, work the exact same way that HOAs do in the United States. So you pay a monthly fee to the association. You have a board which you elect, which are fellow residents that stand on the board, and the amount, just so you guys have a comparative, I'm in a super high-end luxury apartment community, and my HOA fee is $120. We're on a nature preserve, and the amount of landscaping that's done, the level, I mean, they literally scrub the floor. I have underground garage for my building, even though there are only 3 stories, each of these buildings. They literally, like, mop the floors of the garage, like, once a week. As far as all the common areas, every day, that includes your trash pickup, just so many services, and our community center, all of that for 120 a month. So just like an HOA in the US, in that fee that you pay, not all of it is getting spent. A portion of that goes to reserves. So for exterior painting, roof work, things like that, there's reserves that are there. There hasn't been an assessment since I was here. Could it happen? Yes. But generally speaking, they collect enough to take care of everything. Oh, and Eddie's reiterating that the beaches on the Atlantic side are refreshing, not cold. Absolutely. Oh, trying to pronounce your name. Okay, this goes back to my This goes back to my art history degree. I'm just going to call you Delphi because I don't. It's a whole lot of letters squished together, but it starts with Delphi, which is an incredible ancient city in Greece. So that's what I'm calling you, Delphi. I'm sorry. Um, Delphi says hello. Would Huli, that's my concierge, Huli Franco, be able to help with finding a pet relocation company for our cockatoo? I've been looking at pet relocation companies and so far haven't found one who would do it. Yes. And actually, she has a client right now that she's making all the arrangements. She's a miracle worker. And she also knows almost everybody in the country. I mean, Huli just blows my mind all the time. But she knows an exotic bird specialist very, very well. And this specialist went over all the steps. And so Huli is taking care of all of these steps to assure that this bird gets into the country and safely. So there's a link below every video, Delphi, and just do a consult with Huli and she can make sure, for sure, that your bird gets here. Good question. Oh, Rick Starwhite, hi. Rick says, love the climate. Remind folks there's no long summer nights, pretty much the same. Yes. We did talk a little bit earlier about climate, but I didn't mention the time. So what happens is I'm at elevation. I'm very close to the equator, right? So if I were at sea level, it would be super hot. So the beach areas of Colombia are super hot. Same thing, Panama. Same thing, Ecuador. When you're at sea level, it's going to be very hot. And if you're close to the water, even more with humidity and all that stuff. So also with that, you don't have seasonal changes. So when you get way down in South America, it's like going to Australia. It's the opposite. So summer's like winter, winter's like summer, but you have temperature differences between their summer and their winter. Just like in the US, you have temperature differences, even in Florida, between summer, which is unbearable, and winter, which is the snowbird season, which is lovely. But that's not the case in when you're near the equator. The sun is pretty much just arcing over that equator the same way all the time. So it's not changing. And because of that, the length of the days doesn't change. And people ask, I've never looked it up, how many hours of daylight. I'm an early riser. I don't like blinds and stuff on my windows. So I get up with the sun. The sun starts coming up at like 5 a.m., I think. And the sun goes down at 6:30, but when the sun goes down, you still have twilight, when it's over the horizon, or in the case with me, below the horizon or below the mountains. It's still light till 7. So I'd say like 5 a.m., 5:30 until 7 at night, even though it says the sun sets at 6:30, it's light until close to 7. So that's pretty much what it's like year round. So you don't have those wonderful times in the summer where it stays light till, if you're in like New York State, it's light until 9:30 at night. But I wouldn't trade this for anything like that. I mean, yes, it's kind of cool, but then you'd have the extreme of even shorter days in the winter, and you'd have those extreme temperature changes. So it is literally the same weather here, temperature-wise, year-round. Miss Beebe is saying quality food doesn't require a lot of seasoning. And that's so true. And because I'm on, I love being on a budget here, and I do eat at Colombian restaurants often. When I go back to the US, I'm like, oh my gosh, so seasoned, especially if you go to a chain. Like I went to Panera and the salad dressing, oh my gosh, it tasted like pure salt and sugar. It was like the weirdest thing. I never tasted anything so intense. And I loved that salad dressing, 2 years ago. But yes, you just get accustomed to it. But if you don't like that and you want more flavors, there's plenty of restaurants that do that. And I even know the Colombian restaurants that their salad dressings and things like that are more flavorful than your mom and pop places. So you just, you find out what your favorites are and you just go there. And then, of course, as I said earlier, there are incredible chefs, there are incredible restaurants, every possible, in my region, every possible type of ethnic food, from Italian to sushi, Lebanese, Indian. It just goes on and on and on and on. Oh, Marcus Cole, thank you so much for your contribution. That's so sweet. And I hope I'm able to answer. I haven't seen a question from you yet, but ask away, and I'm happy to answer. Thank you so much. Lisa Clark asks, how long would you say the entire process of purchasing your condo was? I'm trying to estimate a timeline for moving there. Well, just like in the United States, Lisa, it's the same as what you want it to be. So the person that decides that initially is the buyer. They're saying, "Hey, I want to buy your apartment." You know, your agent, which in this case you don't have an agent, you have a lawyer, is telling the agent and lawyer of the seller, "My client wants to buy this apartment. This is how much we're willing to put down, and this is the closing period we want." So if you want 30 days, I wanted longer because I didn't think I'd find anything as fast as I did, but I knew when I saw this place, I knew it was right, and I was back in Florida, and I had not packed or done anything yet. I hadn't downsized. I hadn't. So I asked for 60 days, and they said that that was okay. So, but I'd say typical would be 30. But you know, there can be delays with things. So I would allow yourself 6 weeks just to be on the safe side. That's just a guess, but get yourself a good attorney. Very, very important when you buy real estate here. Oh, butternuts. Thank you so much. Thank you for your $20. That is so sweet. I really appreciate this, guys. My YouTube channel has turned into a full-time job. I didn't think I'd be working in my retirement, but I have an A-type personality, and when I embark on something and I'm getting feedback and people want this, it's like I want to do it and I want to do it well. So, I mean, I literally, in addition to like filming the videos and everything, I spend days like editing because I'm not very good at it and stuff. So it's an enormous amount of work for me, and I really appreciate it. That's so kind of you. Okay, I'm gonna scroll up here. Bernie says, "Congrats on your show and channel." Thank you so much, Bernie, and welcome. Andre, hello. Andre says, "My partner and I are planning to move to Antioquia, timing possibly in the next year or two. I've listened to various videos and will watch them all." Yes, and I don't tell people to watch all my videos because I want the view time. I don't even follow that stuff, guys. I really don't. I just say what I feel that I would have wanted to have heard before I made my move. And my whole experience is a work in progress. I'm learning more the longer I'm here. So I'm just simply sharing all that with everybody. And I love doing it. It's definitely a labor of love, and I'm so glad everybody appreciates it. Oh, thank you, Eddie. Eddie's asking everyone to like the video. Yeah, that's really sweet. That helps. And I am going to have the video for those of you that join late. It is going to be you're going to still be able to watch it. I don't know. I don't think it shows like when you're on my channel on the normal video page. I think you have to click on the live page, and then you can see under the lives my past live videos, which is this is my only second one. And I also saw there was an option this time. It was there before, I didn't notice it, that on the replay, I can also show the chat. And have you noticed that? Because I follow other YouTubers. I love YouTube. Have you noticed that sometimes when you see a replay of a live, you'll see the chat, and then other times you won't? So I just thought it'd be helpful for everyone. But yeah, if you miss anything, watch from the beginning. But all my videos, I have bits and pieces, and I do the consults too. The consults are really, really good because I created them because of all the comments, and I have a business email link. It's important to have on your channel, and people were writing me, but with these long lists of questions, and I'm such a thorough person. I want to answer thoroughly, but what's really hard is when I can't ask that person, all these questions and have a back and forth discourse. I can't even service them well. And now my channel's so huge, I don't have the time to do it. So on a one-on-one consult, I mean, we can really dive deep. And I'm going to find a lot about you and what you're looking for. And I can direct you in the right direction. And I can let you know things like, do you qualify to come here? Like all those kinds of things. And it's a great conversation. And as you can tell, I've been on for almost an hour and 15 minutes, and I can just talk forever. My consults are for an hour, it says, haha, but I have always gone at least 90 minutes, sometimes as long as 2 hours. And there's no extra charge for that, by the way. It's not finished till it's finished. So I just want everybody to have a really clear idea on the consult, not have to call back and do multiple consults, but really have a good idea about what their life could be like here. And then anything I can't answer, in addition to that, I will check on it for you. If it's with, like a contractor, or I need to check, whatever, something I don't know, then I email you back the answer. So anyway, that just lets you know a little bit more about what I do. Robert says, love your art. I've seen most of it on previous videos. Oh, thank you so much. I was in the art gallery, the fine art business, since before university. So we're talking, I mean, it was over 40 years. So a very, very long time. So even longer, like over 50 years. I was in the business of fine art, the gallery business. So these are different artists that I've represented over the years. I had a lot more. And when I was trying to figure out a way to stay in the US. And so I sold my house a number of years ago and downgraded or downsized to a condo. And the people that bought my house wanted basically every painting. And I did that. I just loved. And I was feeling the crunch of getting ready to retire. And I went ahead and made an art package price in addition to the price of the house. And so they got a lot of my art. But I was still in the art business then, and I did gather some other paintings, which I love. And I'm great at making what you have fit. And I was able to make, other than 2 paintings, I was able to fit everything that I had just in the right spot here. So I was really happy. But thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. Andre says, I have a few questions and would love your insight, so I'll post them here. Yeah, go ahead, Andre. I haven't scrolled down to them yet, but feel free. Oh, good. I'm glad, Delphi. But that's what you're known as. You're known as Delphi now. Oh, thank you, Eddie. He's saying that when people click like, it helps my channel grow. Oh, thank you for reminding everyone, Eddie. Pie Pie. Gosh, I love all these great creative names. Or is it Plea? No, it's PLE. My eyes are going. PLE, PLE. Ms. Nana. Oh, Ms. Nana. I am Colombian. I knew you had to be Colombian. Colombians, guys, and I will get to your comment or question. But Colombians are the most polite culture I've ever encountered anywhere in the world, except for maybe Japan would be a close second. But Colombians are so gracious and so polite. So thank you for calling me Ms. Nana. And you're saying that I'm Colombian, living abroad since my youth. Thanks for your valuable information, and I'm thinking about retiring in my own country soon. I love your content. You are so, so welcome. Plea. I don't know how to say your YouTube name. That is so kind of you. And my viewership, Colombian viewership, I was able to look on YouTube. It was really interesting where my viewers were. And I could see, when I first started my channel and now. And I am getting people from all over the world and a lot of people even doing my consults that are Colombian, and especially those living in the US now that are at retirement age. So imagine that, this Colombian person or family immigrated to the US. They're there, legally, of course, they have every right to stay. But husband and wife or a single person, they're ready to retire. And like, it's kind of like a duh, like no brainer. Like, would you want to retire in the United States, or you want to go back to your home country where your retirement money is worth 4 times as much? I mean, and going back. So I am getting the sweetest comments in the comments that from Colombian people in the US, Canada, Europe, and just saying, thank you for reminding me of all that is so wonderful about my country. And I was thinking about going back there, and now I really do. And I don't know if you guys know, I do relocation tours too. They're a boutique experience, just in a private car, and you get to really figure out if this area is for you or not. They're incredible, and a full day. Links below in the description. I'm not here to plug everything. But I recently had a gentleman who's in his 80s, and sadly, his wife passed away last year, and he has not been back to Colombia. He's a retired attorney. He has not been back to Colombia in 55 years. And he wanted to stay right in the pueblo of El Retiro because that's his memory of, he wasn't from El Retiro, but the Bogota area. But that's his memory. He wanted to be in the pueblo, which is so gorgeous, that pueblo, and be in a little local hotel and go out and go to church on Sunday morning and go sit in the cafe and meet other people in the parque, which, by the way, is like the town square or the piazza here in Colombia. And that visit was just incredible. And he and his son are going to end up getting a place down here, maybe not for year round, but they're definitely going to come down here. But dad is going to be here close to year round because he's coming back to his homeland. And I just love that. Things like that just warm my heart so much. Andre says, real estate and property, what mistakes would you caution against when buying property in Colombia? Anything you wish you did differently? No, as I said, just a short while ago, you probably weren't in the chat, Andre. You have an attorney that represents you. They don't even have buying agents like in the US where you have the listing agent and the buying agent who goes around and shows you property. No, you have an attorney. So, and that person is fully checking out just what a title company would do, but better. They're checking out the title, make sure it's free and clear on the property. They're creating a nuts and bolts contract to make sure that that's handled just to the T. Everything is checked and double checked, and that's even before your initial down payment. So you have nothing to worry about as long as you use a good attorney. You'll be fine. Butternut says, I love Nana. That's so sweet. And Nana, by the way, is not my real name. I try to because I'm a solo female. I don't give out my real name on the internet, just to, I don't know, in case there's like some wacko stalker person out there, like who knows. But anyway, Nana is what my grandson calls me. So that's so sweet. Warms my heart. Thank you, Butternuts. Okay, Andre has another question. If you were to buy again, would you use the same real estate agent? Well, you don't use a real estate agent. So no MLS system. Most sellers will have an agent that lists the property, but the listing is not an MLS. So it's as good as the agent they have. most of them aren't even like advertising on the internet. And if you're looking to buy real estate, I strongly suggest either doing a consult with Julie Franco, and she's my concierge. She does consults as well as I do. The links are below in the description. But there is a protocol to, because otherwise it's impossible, and especially from a distance, to find all the properties that are available and whatnot, because there's no MLS. So no, but would I use the same attorney? Probably would use an attorney more locally here. I initially was looking in Medellin, so I had an attorney there, but I have since referred people because of my relationship with Huli. She's such a miracle worker. The best attorney that's out here in Eastern Antioquia. That's what I would suggest. Oh, oh, thank you, Renee. That's so sweet. Thank you so much for your contribution. And I'm loving these little GIFs and the contributions. They're so cute. Thank you so, so much for supporting my channel. And if I'm repeating, I know I already thanked you. I think Marcus, and you too, Butternut. Thank you. Thank you. What happens is when something else like that posts, everything scrolls up again. So that's why I'm trying not to miss anyone's questions. And if it's been a super long time, guys, and you've been here and I haven't answered your question, just post it again, because that just means in this scrolling that I missed it. And I don't mind. I won't be irritated because I didn't see it in the first place. Denise says, thank you. I almost eliminated Colombia because I am a cook and love food. I also love cheap, basic food. So menu de dias does sound good. I do eggs on everything. Oh, Denise, yeah, that's the tradition here. The ingredients are so fresh and so delicious here, Denise. I give an example of blueberries. Oh, by the way, it is not tropical here. Tropical things grow. So, but we have blueberries, and they're kind of like a boysenberry. We also have bananas and papayas and mangoes, and my neighbor has a bunch of bird of paradise on their balcony. But you also have like apple trees, and it's everything grows here. It's just unbelievable. Oh, and the avocados. At the Haas, avocados are a major crop of this region, and they're my favorite ones. I don't like the Florida avocados, the green skin ones that are bigger. They seem watery to me. I like those really creamy black skinned avocados. And those are about 20 cents each here. So can't beat that. But the food is the fruits, the vegetables, the meats, the eggs, so flavorful that when I make things, they're, like I said earlier, I really don't even have to use much spice in them because the flavor of the ingredients is so good. But I have spices. And guys, most spices are available here, but if there's something really unusual that you can't find here, when you are back in the US, just get some and pop it in your suitcase. Amazon does deliver here, and for free, by the way, as long as you have a Prime account, and almost everything's on there. And I double checked, I changed the address to my daughter's address, and the price was the same. So things ship out of their Miami warehouse is my guess. And whatever's in that warehouse, which is almost everything that's on their friggin' website, will ship here to Colombia and for free. It's $35 minimum purchase to get free shipping. It doesn't mean per product, but just total for your order. And you always want to keep each order under $200 total, because that way there'll be no duty on it. So there's no sales tax either. So no tax, no duty. It's fantastic. But there are two things that don't ship on Amazon. They won't do anything ingestible. So it can't do any vitamins. There are tons of vitamin stores here, so don't worry about that. And you can't do anything that you eat or drink. So that includes the spices. So, oh, that McCormick poultry season is like my favorite thing in the world. It's got sage and thyme. I mean, I love it. I use it in chicken soup. I love it so much. So I just brought a bottle of that back with me last time. Not a big deal. But you can find almost everything on Amazon, and then the stores here too. Yes, coach is reiterating because we're close to the equator. We have the same weather year round, pretty much. Yes. Oh, some people have asked, I haven't seen it in here, but they've asked, is there like a heavy rain season, like in Panama has it? Certain Central American countries have it. Again, more tropical locations. Southeast Asia is famous for its monsoon season. We don't have that here. But if you are planning a trip, a scouting trip, you're doing a relocation tour with me, anything like that, you want to avoid these 4 months. It's not that it's monsoon, but your chance of having rain in the day is more likely. Will it rain all day and all night? Probably not. But you could, I mean, I've experienced it here where let's say you're coming for a week. If you plan during that time of year, there's 2 times of year, you could have a great day every day. And that'd be kind of sad because everything's so green with the blue sky and so pretty. So if avoidable, it's not the end of the world because again, it's not a monsoon season. Avoid, I keep looking out my window. I have so many birds. You guys probably think I'm crazy. Like, why? Like they're whooshing by, and a hummingbird just came right up to the window and was like fluttering, looking at me. But so where was I? Just had a brain freeze. Oh my gosh, I had a senior brain freeze on YouTube live. Okay, somebody's got to help me. I'm down at the bottom here. What was I talking about? Help. What was I talking about before the nobody's helping me before my hummingbird brain freeze. Well, let's go back up to the questions here. I think I was talking something. Oh, the monsoon season. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay. No, there's no monsoon season. This is important, but you do have some times of year where your chance of gray days is higher or chance of, raining in the afternoon and that night. It could put a damper if you're only coming down like for a week. So why even take that risk? So I would say, or not would say, I can tell you that October and November get more rain, not every day, again, not monsoon, and April and May. So if you can plan your trip, so it's any of those other 8 months, so not October and November, and not April and May. Now, I didn't know that when I came here, and my first 2 visits were during those time periods, and it was fine. But again, you could get a front that rolls in where it's just yucky for a whole week, and why risk that? So that's just my little word of advice, not the end of the world, but if you can avoid it, do it. Oh, Eddie is saying my recommendations for buying a home in Medellín metro area or El Retiro and Rio Negro area, which is out where I am. And yes. And to get a lawyer like Huli. Well, Huli is a paralegal and a concierge. She does all things immigration too. She's just amazing, but she's not a lawyer. She works with lawyers. She can recommend a lawyer to do your closing on your house, but she actually is not a lawyer per se, just to clarify. But she's amazing. She's my lifeline. Oh my gosh. I would have made so many mistakes. Um, as you know, the saying, my whatever would have been grass if I hadn't had her. Um, oh, thank you, Last Flight, for asking this. With the recent resurgence of guerrilla groups in other parts of Colombia, are you at all concerned that the unrest might spread in your area or even escalate into a full-blown civil war? Well, I've had some comments regarding that, and so I did some research, like what is this activity? What is going on? I know it's really far away from where I am. It's either on the Pacific coast, there's some, and there's some in on the Venezuelan border. So I wanted to find out like what the chance of it, number one, was it coming here, and really what constitutes it? What is it? It's not political. I can assure you of that. Last Flight out. That's your name, by the way. People are thinking, why is she saying Last Flight out? But I love you. You comment all the time on my videos. You're the best. But anyway, what's fighting is these groups, these unscrupulous groups, are fighting with one another, like over like prostitution trade or drug trade or whatever. So they're fighting amongst themselves, and so it's not political. It's not that there's going to be an uprising here, anti-government, sort of things going on. So that's basically what it is. And the Colombian government does try to do its best to reduce that. For instance, the Venezuelan border, there are prostitutes can come across, child prostitutes. I mean, just bad, bad stuff. And the Colombian government is doing its best to keep that from happening. And these gang lords, that's the guerrillas that are fighting each other. But there's what I found out in my research is they are really, really good at being underground and hiding. It's very, very hard to detect them and who they are and find them and get to them, because that's the thing, is this illegal activity that they do. So I don't at all feel threatened by that in my region. It doesn't exist. There is some prostitution in Medellín. If you stay out of the areas where they are and you aren't out late at night and getting drunk and stuff, you're not going to be around that particular type of group, so to speak. So, and I don't go into Medellín much anyway, but I'm not scared when I do go, because I'm not partaking in that type of activity. So hope that answers your question last, and check on it, check AI. I mean, that's what I did. I Googled and I used AI to find out what was going on and what the chance of it coming to the El Retiro region where I live. And it was like none. So not worried. Okay, Andre has another question. You did say you had a lot of questions. Let's see what this one is. Do you recommend any specific Facebook groups, websites, or local contacts that help you find good listings? Yes. And that's where I would say, I mean, it would take me forever on here. But if you book a consult with me, that also includes all the list of all the Facebook groups, all the contacts, everything that you're going to need if you are looking at coming to this area. But you can find Facebook groups on your own. Just put the word expat in there. Expat, El Retiro, Rio Negro, Medellin, and you can find those. And a lot of groups will let you in even if you haven't moved here, if you're just considering to move here. It's a great way to ask questions out of courtesy. When you're new in the group, you don't want to bombard. And I'm not saying you're bombarding, Andre. You just have a lot of questions and you're a sweetheart. But you don't want to just go in there and be asking all these questions, because these groups have been around for many years and they've seen all these questions before. So the very best tool in the group that you have is the search engine that's in that group. You'll see that magnifying glass right at the top once you've joined the group, and put in what your questions are. You could put in the word gorilla, like you just asked me. You can put in whatever and see what people have posted about it. I give you a super, this is a girly girl example, but I was trying to decide I bought I shipped a pallet here, what to put in the pallet, what not. And I was trying not to ship anything heavy that I could get for cheap here, like, obviously furniture, things like that. And I went there's a group of women in Medellin, female expats. There's also a expats over 50, which is a great group too. But I think it was in the women one. And I went in the magnifying search and I looked for linens and towels, just certain keywords like that. And everybody was saying they're expensive and they aren't plush. And that's true. When you go to hotels here, those Holiday Inn kind of towels are just more thin. And it's not saying that, I mean, this area of Colombia is super luxurious. It's absolutely wonderful. But those are the kind of towels that they like. They just like thin towels, and the sheets aren't high thread count, whatever. And I thought, I'm going to bring my own sheets because I got really nice towels and sheets. I can vacuum them, so they're not heavy, and just vacuum them so they don't take up a lot of room in the pallet. So that I learned from a Facebook group without even having to ask. Because a lot of times it's only who's watching that post that day that would even be able to help you. But you can research for months, if not years back, everything in that group that's ever been discussed. So it's definitely worth its weight in gold. But also remember that these are lay people. So be very wary if it has to do with things like transferring money, buying real estate, taxes. You can ask away, but you're going to get a lot of just layman answers, and a lot of it's wrong. So just be careful with that. And I keep saying it, hire expert, always hire an expert when it's expert things like accounting. It'd be like, who would go and get medical advice from somebody that just says, oh, whatever, if you had a serious disease, and not go to a qualified person, even if you don't believe in a doctor. I mean, just some homeopath, I mean, something that just is going by, strictly old wives' tales. I mean, you wouldn't do that. So just be careful. Oh, Eddie is giving out some good agencies. Thanks, Eddie. And here's the deal, though, with the agencies, most people don't speak English. So what the people that I know and that Huli knows are real estate agents and I recognize some of these agencies that speak English and also have an understanding of kind of the gringo. And gringo, by the way, is not a bad word. The gringo aesthetic. And I am going to comment on gringo because some people have said, I actually had a woman and she accused me of using something equivalent to the N word, which I thought was like really distasteful. Like, how can you compare the word gringo to, hundreds of years of slavery and abuse and just all the things tied in with the N word? I mean, like nowhere close. It's actually a term of endearment with a lot of people. Like somebody to say, oh, she's my gringa, means it's your non-Colombian girlfriend. I mean, it's a sweet thing to say. So no, it's not a bad word. And a lot of people think that it stems from these things to do with I can't remember. Anyway, I looked up what the meaning of it is, and it comes from the term Greek. It actually does. And I researched it and I asked AI, and it's like saying it's Greek to me, like it's foreign is where the root of that word comes from. It basically just means foreigner, someone, and that you don't understand them. So can you imagine? I mean, hundreds of years ago, whenever that term was coined, that somebody was speaking another language, it would be like Greek to them, like they didn't get it. So that became their kind of their nickname. But it's definitely not a bad word. Okay, Andre. Wow. Okay. Andre's asking a lot of questions. And then after this last one, Andre, I'm going to start scrolling past, and I don't mean to be mean because I don't want to miss anybody else's. And if some time has gone by, you can ask some of those a little later. Andre says, I speak some Spanish, although a lot to learn. Sometimes I don't understand depending upon the accent and the speed. Were there specific situations that were particularly hard without strong Spanish skills? The only time that I've had problems, because I can, if absolutely necessary, I try not to, but use my, Google Translate on my phone when I'm out and about. And that's happened. Like the car dealership, I had to order a part. This piece fell off my finger. Then, everything's plastic. It like snapped on, and this little piece over the tire, this little plastic piece was missing. So I went in there to order it, and just trying to, I didn't know those words in Spanish and stuff. So the guy and I in the parts department manager, I communicated that way. It was not a big deal. But where it gets difficult is in a phone call. So if you have to make a doctor's appointment and they don't have WhatsApp and it's not in a text, you actually have to call a place. My Spanish speaking skills are not good enough. And so having someone like Huli, who is my concierge, she's taken care of things like that. And then over time, I've gotten to be friends with all my Colombian neighbors. They have helped me. I had to go into my reach my bank one time, and the app was all in Spanish, and I know how to use the app, but I had to go into a chat thing, some chat thing for security reasons, and I didn't understand all the prompts in the chat, and they were coming at me really fast. So you just get someone to help you. It's not a big deal. Okay. Hi, Elle. Elle Lee says, hi. I'm weighing two visa paths for Colombia, the digital nomad visa versus the investment visa, through purchasing property. Which of these paths is best for eventually getting your permanent residency? I'm going to take a sip of water. Sorry, guys. So, Elle, there's a huge difference. The digital nomad visa is only good for a year, and you can only renew it for another year. So that answers your question. It is not the path to residency because that takes 5 years. So definitely the investment visa. The only other option for residency is a retirement visa. But I'm just guessing, since you were looking to digital nomad, that you're not retired, you're still working. And oftentimes with young people that want to come here, if they can't invest in, by buying an apartment or something, or start a business here or something like that, they don't qualify. They end up being nomadic digital nomads. And that's a trend actually all over the world, because no country is going to let you stay. Well, there are a few, very, very few in the world where you can stay forever, and you're not retired and you're just working remotely. So what most digital nomads do is they stay, a couple of years in one country and they just move on. And the advantage to that is that your income, let's say it is United States income, and you're coming to a country like Colombia, you can really sock that money away. I don't even spend my Social Security here. So you can imagine if you had a US paying job, digital job, it's going to be a lot more money than my Social Security. You're not going to need to spend that. You're going to be able to save a ton of money that way. So I would definitely suggest, if you want to obtain residency or if you want to be in Colombia longer than 2 years total, that you you purchase a piece of property. But you can come here on the digital nomad, take your time. You don't have to buy right away. And that will bide you some time to decide if this is the place for you. And if it is, then you get that going. And my concierge, Juli Franco, is a whiz at that, an absolute whiz, even helping people that are here only on tourist visas and knowing when they can come, when they can go, all those idiosyncrasies. And by the way, guys, laws change, things change all the time. It was time for me to renew my visa, and there were all these extra things that had to be done, and Juli knew. And I have expat friends that actually didn't know, and I didn't know that they were doing it on their own. And I have one friend that actually had to leave the country for 6 months. So that would be pretty yucky when you have all your stuff here, like where you're going to go, and an expense and all that. So just make sure always, always that you have expert help. Hi, Renee. She likes replays that include the chat. Yes, I figured out how to do that. And I set this up ahead of time. You have to do that ahead of time so that the replay of this live will not have me just gabbing away at nothing, but it will have the chat up as well, which is nice. Are there any hidden costs, Andre is asking, that people tend to forget when calculating their retirement budget in Colombia? That would actually make a good subject. I haven't encountered anything really, other than, the cost of visa renewal, if you're would be above and beyond what you would have in staying in your home country. But pretty much like if you want a driver's license, that's going to cost you money. If you want to have insurance, I'm not talking health insurance. You can get that with a visa. You can get the government insurance for really cheap. Um, but if you want, car insurance, homeowners insurance, things like that, those are going to cost you. My property taxes, just so you guys know, my condo I bought for 165,000, and my annual taxes are $500 a year. So, and I'm in a strata 5. The highest luxury level you can be is 6. I'm at a 5, and that's all I pay every year is $500. So I would have to say, Andre, that there really aren't. And when there are, it's not going to be much. Where you really, really, I mean, you think you save on buying real estate, renting, buying food, all of those things, yes. But when it comes to service industry, it's like unbelievable. Good friends of mine, they needed some roof repair. They had the Spanish tile on their house, and they were quoted, oh, it's going to be about 60 tiles. I can't remember what they were quoted. It was very, very cheap to come and do that. Well, the roofing company discovered that although they didn't look at, they showed the owner, it was true. There were like 250 tiles that were not installed properly on the home that they bought, which was not very good. But anyway, that needed to be replaced. And so the owner, my friend, was just like so worried. Oh my God, oh my God. Okay, what's that going to cost? It came to like 60 something dollars, these Spanish tiles for 250 of them. And that included the install. So, so when it comes to contract work, if you need a plumber, you need an electrician, you need to take an Uber. I mean, we are literally, guys, talking about pennies on the dollar here. So as far as surprises, Andre, if there are surprises and things come up, they're going to be nominal. That I can guarantee you. Yes, Andre, a consult would be great in your case because you have so many questions, and I keep answering them because they are good questions and they're helping everybody. But the main thing you get with a consult with me is that I'm going to be asking you questions. I'm going to find out about you, your lifestyle, your taste, your this, your that, your age, what you're interested in, all these things, and I can gear my answers towards knowing who you are. It's very, very hard with strangers. And also that's true in the comments in the video. Like, and they ask a question, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to ask them 10 questions and have this discussion before I can even answer it. So yes, that would be super helpful. I'll be happy to talk with you. And I talk and talk and talk for way over the hour, and I don't charge for that. So I make sure I answer everything for you. Oh my gosh, I love this name. Grammy's got her groove on. I love it. And she admires me. Well, I admire you, Grammy. I love your name. That's awesome. Yeah, Eddie is agreeing with me that Al definitely wants the investment visa. Absolutely. Yeah, digital nomad, maximum you'll be here is 2 years. Yeah. Um, Al is saying she's been working from home for 14 years. And wasn't sure if it would continue to be an option. Well, you can continue to work, but the longest you can do that in Colombia, and stay like year round is 2 years on that digital nomad. You could after that, just do a tourist visa. You're allowed to say it doesn't have to be consecutive, but 6 months out of the year, you can do, tourist visas. They're good for 90 days, but renewable. So if you have another place that you can go, you can keep working longer than that, if you want, or just do, as Eddie and I are saying, just do the investor visa and you can keep working for however long you want. Coach is adding that Colombia enjoys about 12 different cultural areas, regions, almost separate countries within its boundaries, each with its own distinct cuisine. That's so true, Coach. So, so true. And for those of us that are from the United States, we can so relate, in Canada too. I mean, there's a big difference in the food in, you know, South Carolina and the food in New York City. I mean, it's just cultural differences. I mean, the US has really changed over the last couple of decades or so. It's more of a melting pot. People I lived in South Carolina for a really short time. I mean, there were no Yankees there. Used to be no one there. I lived right outside of Charlotte. Now it's like people from all over the country live in that area and the suburban areas of South Carolina all around it and North Carolina. So, but it used to be like really, really different, like if you were in, different parts of the country. So, and that's very, very true in Colombia. And the one thing that I can say, I keep plugging because I love this region so much. And I love El Retiro so much. And also, Rio Negro and just all the surrounding area called Oriente de Antioquia, or better known as Eastern Antioquia. It's a highly, highly cultural area. And I think that's true pretty much everywhere, but the local governments, oh my gosh, do they support the arts. And here in my little town of El Retiro, I'm trying to say it, I'm sorry, guys. El Retiro is, I mean, literally every day of the week, there's art classes, there's book clubs, there's lectures. There was even a French month at one of the cultural centers where you could cook French, learn French. I mean, just unbelievable. And then the music, and I'm not saying just salsa music, which is huge here, but Latin folk music and musicians from all over North, South America, Mexico, Central America, South America, and all different types of music, like jazz, rock. I mean, just unbelievably cultural. And El Retiro has its own orchestra, which is really, really good. And they perform once a month in the parquet, and they have guest appearances of people too. I mean, really good people. That's free, by the way, guys. And that orchestra, it is the cutest thing. And they are so good. They have 10-year-olds and they have like 80-year-olds. And these are all local townspeople. And they have been going to these classes, and the conductor is amazing. It's just, and this is all just in a small town, in a pueblo. There's that much of a reverence for all things that are the arts. And of course, I lean towards that. I love that. But even if it's not totally your bag, I mean, who doesn't love great music? The fact that there's something to do, like literally every day and every evening in this small town area that I live, and I'm not a super social person, but when I can go out and I feel like meeting friends or something, there is always something really cool going on. And that doesn't happen in most places, particularly in a small town. Oh, Kent, welcome, Kent. And thank you so much for your contribution. You're so sweet. And I love hearing from you. Kent comments all the time. And I believe, I can't remember, but I can't remember what country you're in. I'm pretty sure you're over in Europe, like in England or Ireland or something. You'll have to let everyone know. And Kent, with his contribution, asks, in your view, what would you say are the top five, I got to count. I'm not good with numbers. Top five pleasant surprises someone from the US would experience in Colombia? Well, actually, I did a video on 11 of them. So it's going to be, I'm probably going to forget like a really important one. But pleasant surprises would be number one. It sounds so cliche, is the warmth of the people. I mean, almost everywhere you hear that. Oh, go to such and such, the warmth of people. I mean, I am not kidding. This is sincere warmth. This is, they will take the shirt off their back warmth. They consider you a part of the family warmth. Being a senior citizen, I think it puts it on steroids, and the fact that I'm a solo person, even more so, and not in a smothering way. And I would say, and just a general interest in the other human being that they're talking to, whether it's the gas station attendant or the clerk at the grocery. I mean, it reminds me of the old days, the summer town that I grew up in New Jersey, this little Victorian town on the ocean, and everyone knew each other in this town. And everyone knew the grocer, the butcher, the baker. My first job was at the pharmacy. It was one of those tiny little pharmacies, and the man was the pharmacist that owned it, and I worked the cash register in the summers. And everyone knew each other, and everyone took care of each other. If there was a sickness in the family, the whole town, made sure that everything was set up for that family so they'd be okay. That goes on here, big time. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. Another pleasant surprise, and I'm trying to think of things that weren't in the video. Pleasant surprise was the fact that my Spanish skills were nothing. And I have kind of a bit of short-term memory loss, so I'm not learning that well, or that quickly. But the things that I have learned to say, and my comprehension's much better. I must say that the surprise would be that your comprehension, you'll see, even if it's hard for you to speak, you're going to start understanding people speaking. And in Colombia, I've said this before, it's a very formal country. So people speak very eloquently, as I get tongue-tied, and they enunciate and they don't rush their language. So I think I know the Spanish here is easier to understand than, say, Spanish from Cuba or Puerto Rico. You can just hear it like blah, 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 blah. And so it is a nice, pleasant surprise, Kent, that the Spanish here is much easier to learn. And other pluses, let's see, would be, I would have to say, my actual region. I thought that I would be missing certain things or not be able to get certain things. Between all the diversity of things that are available in my region and Medellín, but I'm out in the countryside and still everything is accessible. The fact that I didn't know that Amazon would deliver here for free and that the price was the same as if I ordered in Florida. So that was a pleasant surprise as well, for sure. And another one, I did a whole video on it. This was a good one. And this will be my last one, Ken, is the fact that I lost 20 pounds my first year here without even trying. And I know it sounds hokey, but I did a video on it. Obviously, it's more hilly. I have a dog to walk, so more physical activity. You do walk more when you're in town. Yes, the food's more pure. You don't have the additives, no added sugars, chemicals, GMOs, that kind of stuff. But I ended up looking it up because somehow in my memory bank, I thought I'd heard this somewhere, and I looked it up. But altitude speeds up your metabolism, and big time, and the higher you go. My town is 7,000 feet. My apartment, I'm up another 1,000 feet, up a mountain road. I'm at 8,000 feet, and I eat literally twice as much than I did when I was in Florida. And I was always having to cut back and, pare down for a couple weeks because I'd put 5 pounds on or whatever, just this yo-yo. But here, no. I mean, I try to stay eating healthy, but I splurge all the time. And I eat heavy meats. Before, I would only have poached fish, greens, things. I would never go to a restaurant and order ribs. I eat ribs here. And I eat dessert. So, those are some pleasant surprises for you. Hope you enjoyed those. So let me scroll up and see where we are. Oh my gosh, my daughter's here. Hi, honey. I love you. Oh, and I miss you. Someone's asked earlier the hardest thing, what are the hard things? And I mentioned family, and I miss my family. And I want to start getting back even more. And it's only a 3-hour flight, so that's a good thing. And it looks like my adult kids are coming here very soon. We have that in the works. So yeah, thank you, sweetie, for visiting. I love you. Okay, Lori is asking, have you opened a bank account in Colombia and do you have to use US banks? Well, I did open a Colombian bank account, and I'll tell you why in a second. But your US bank, any credit card, I use Charles Schwab. It's just such free checking account because there's no foreign transaction fees. I do have a money video on this. Most expats use that card unless you happen to have a credit card that doesn't have them. Because you don't want to be charged a fee like 2 to 5% more of everything you buy on that card. I went to with my daughter and my son actually. We hadn't traveled in a number of years. This was years ago, and we went to Italy, and I didn't realize that was going on every time I went to a restaurant or an ATM. But the slapping on all these fees. But so that's really important that your U.S. bank that you use or the credit card you use from the U.S. does not have those. The reason that I got a Colombian bank account, and you can't get one until you have your cédula. It looks like cedula in English, but it's pronounced cedula, and that's your government ID. And you can't get your cedula until you have something beyond just a tourist visa. So whether it's the digital nomad, retirement, investor visa, one of those, then you get your cedula. It only takes a month or two. It's just an ID card, and then you can get a Colombian bank account. Did I really need it? No, but the reason that you get it is it just is so much easier to pay your utility bills and situations where, let's say you have a plumber or something like that, and they don't have a credit card processing machine. Before I had an account, I was in hiding it, keeping, extra, chunk of change in Colombian pesos hidden in my apartment, in case I was ever in a situation where I had to pay a Colombian and they didn't have credit card processing. So that's not the case anymore. Now the app, I use Bank Colombia or Colombia. And even with just a QR code, it's just like using Zelle, but even faster. It's like super easy to give people money. So I'm glad I have the Colombian account. Coral is asking about flooding. There was, when a few months after I first got here, one of the streets, which is right next to the river, one spot flooded a bit and it went into a grocery store. But other than that, the town was fine. One thing about this area is everything flows down. I mean, we're at 8,000 feet in this area. And there just isn't a sunken area anywhere. Just gravity just keeps taking it down. So no major flooding, at least that I know of. I did check before I decided to move here on natural disasters here. No tornadoes, no hurricanes, far enough away from the major fault lines, and no major flooding in this immediate area. And Eddie can probably answer for me if there's flooding in Medellín, but I doubt it's much. So I wouldn't worry about that. Oh, Joe, thank you. So sweet for your contribution. You're a love. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm going to have more water here, guys. Oh, Eddie's bringing up a good point about the investor visa. I had the choice, being a retired age, I could have gone with the investor visa or the retirement visa. And the reason, even though they're basically the same, that I chose the investor visa is what Eddie is saying. I mean, I'm just saying long term because it takes 5 years to get your residency. I don't want to scare anyone that has a retirement visa. I'm not saying anything bad is going to happen. But what Eddie is saying to Elle is The thing with the investment visa is that by buying an apartment or house, this shows the Colombian government that you mean business and you're serious about living here. And that's true. I mean, it's got some clout. So are there any projected cutbacks on the retirement visa? No, but I know in other countries that's happened where like they start taking away all these perks and stuff because they're just getting too many people. And I had to go. I now have less than 4 years left till I get my residency, but I just thought, well, it's just more rock solid, uh, that if they change, or they took away the government healthcare, which again, guys, I don't want anybody worried about that. That's not happening with the retirement visa. That's your only choice. You're going to be fine. But it's definitely rock solid. That investor visa is definitely rock solid. Hi, Samuel. Yes, all is going well for me. Thank you so much for asking. John, hi, John. Yes, he's confirming that Alianza Valores, better known as Alianza, is great for property purchases. And in my money video, I explain how I did that to buy my property. It's a brokerage firm. I did discuss this earlier in my live, so I'm not going to go into it. But yes, it's all government regulated. It's a good, clean way to move your money, a large amount, for buying property. It's the way you have to do it. Colombian government does not accept foreign money into the country, just like that. Everything has to be checked and double checked. They don't want any monkey business, and the FBI check you, and and that gives me peace of mind. It's like they don't want trouble in this country. It's grown leaps and bounds over the last 30 years, and they just want to keep all nasty stuff out of here. So more power to Colombia. Yay. Aw, Marina says, I like your honesty and eloquent communication style. You are beautiful, Nana. That's so sweet. Thank you. I tell you, and it's 99% of the comments on my videos are just so heartwarming and so sweet. And I just appreciate my YouTube family so much and everyone that's here. I haven't even looked for some reason. Oh, I think I'm so bad at this. I think I have 102 people in here right now. I hadn't even looked at that yet today. And 85 likes. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Oh, you're welcome, Jasmine. I'm happy to help. Esperanza says, hi, Ms. Nana. Remember I said earlier how polite and gracious and lovely the Colombian people are. And here we have Esperanza, Colombian person, calling me Ms. Nana, not just Nana. That's so sweet. Thank you. Says, I am Colombian leaving the USA. I wanted to tell you that I love how well spoken you are. I am understanding every word you say. Congratulations on your channel. That is so sweet. Thank you. And I am going to use you as an example for all the non-Colombian people on here, just how wonderful your comment is. First and foremost, do you see next to Esperanza's, she's congratulating me. Do you see all the celebratory emojis? We have balloons and confetti and noise blowers. Colombians love celebration and whatever milestone. And family gatherings because someone got their driver's license and everybody has a big dinner and there's probably a cake for the person that got the driver's license. So that right there, I mean, it's your comment speaks your culture, Esperanza, and I really appreciate that so much. And I oftentimes, now that I have more Colombian people watching the channel, that I get the sweetest comments saying, and these are from Colombians living in Colombia. I've lived here so long, I've kind of lost, I kind of just take for granted everything in my country. And watching your video, it was a couple of videos in particular. One was 11 Colombian habits, I think it was called. just saying it just reminded me of how proud I am of my country and just how beautiful it is. Because when you live something every day, you just sort of lose it. You lose the appreciation for it. It's there, but you don't really realize how special it is. So I was able to bring that to the forefront to so many Colombian people in those videos, and I hope to continue to do that because I think that's just a great thing. Jose, hi, Jose, and now I understand. I understood Jose's question. It's only 1, 2, 3, 4 words. That's why, but I'm getting better. And Jose, and my pronunciation is terrible, but my reading of Spanish and my listening and comprehending Spanish is so much better. And Jose says, eres feliz en Colombia. Sí, Jose, muy feliz en Colombia. He's asking if I'm happy in Colombia. Oh, thank you. I am so, so happy. Sovereign Nature, love your name. And you love my content. Thank you. Love Sovereign Nature. That's great. Sharon, is the government corrupt there? Are there good government that tries to get good things accomplished? I haven't encountered anything corrupt, and not even from the police here. Eddie, if you're still here, Eddie's lived here for 20 years, and his parents are Colombian, so or were Colombian, so he can answer that better for you. But as far as I know, no. I know that the current president leans a little bit more social, and particularly in the luxury area, this enclave of this region. Again, very affordable by US standards, but considered luxury lifestyle for Colombians. And these are retired professionals mostly, or working professionals. Quite a few of my neighbors have said they don't like the current president. I mean, it's not like there's uproar over it or anything, but he leans, pretty much to the left. But no, I haven't encountered anything corrupt. I've done all these different bureaucratic things, of course, Huli helping to make sure there's no mistakes, but no one was asking for under the table money with any of these processes for immigration, for visa or cedula, or getting my insurance or anything like that. I didn't encounter even my driver's license. So I'd have to say no. Hi, Diana. Diana says, hi there. From what home state in the US did you relocate from? I'm curious what prompted you to move. I'm of Colombian heritage. Oh, wonderful. A number of reasons. I lived actually in Florida. The climate is so much better here, particularly in the mountains where I am, as opposed to Florida. My primary reason was to try to find a country where I could live comfortably on my retirement income, but also feel safe. I wanted to feel culturally inspired as far as the arts, art galleries, musical events. I wanted to be in a community where people participated in that type of thing. And I found all of that here. Great food, healthy environment, great, doctors, and the people. It was so important to me. And I'm not going to name countries, but there are some countries in the world where just the demeanor is more cold, and it's just a cultural thing that's evolved, like not warm and huggy and super friendly. I thought it would be harder to meet people, make friends, and that kind of thing. And Colombia has just blown me just out of the water. I mean, as far as happiness with that, I've been so welcome, and people are off the Richter scale warm here towards me. So those are just a few of the reasons, but I do have, Diane, a number of videos that talk about this, why I chose Colombia and why I love it here so much. Diana is saying that the outskirts of Medellín in Antioquia is beautiful. Yes, and that's where I live in all directions. I'm kind of southeast in what's called the Oriente area, the Eastern area, even though it's southeast. But yes, all the surrounding areas, it's mountainous, it's gorgeous, it's incredible little pueblos, just lovely. Hi, Fred. Fred says, I live in Bogota. I'm here for 3 years. Tell me what are the requirements for obtaining a driver's license? Oh, good question. Oh, everything just scrolled away and now I'm missing stuff. Oh, here we go. Okay, super simple. It's actually a little bit more required and I like it because in Florida, they didn't do this. So you have a written exam and you have a medical exam, and it's not stringent, but it's in addition to just checking your eyes, and you're allowed to wear your glasses. You also go to a separate division in it's all takes place in I think it's in the driving. I don't know if this was a government building that was next to the driving school or whether it was part of the driving school. Again, I don't know. Huli helped me all this with this and came with me because my Spanish isn't good. But anyway, so you have to do the course. You have to have the medical check, which is basically a doctor interviews you. They listen to your heart. You go into a booth to check your hearing. And I do have old age, hearing loss that started. Probably at some point I'm going to need a hearing aid. But if I had a hearing aid, they'd let you wear that for that. So, and they check your eyes. So they want to make sure you can see, do all of that. The other thing that they don't have, at least not in Florida, is they check your reflexes. And I can't tell you how many accidents there are with the elderly that have no reflexes anymore. They're driving and they have to press the brake pass. So there's a quick little test for that. I passed that. You have to be pretty doggone bad not to test that. And then the older you get, they require that you go in and you have that medical exam. I think my license is good for either 5 or 10 years. I got it at age 67. I can't remember. I'm so bad at remembering numbers. But anyway, Huli was telling me she has a client that just turned 80 and had to renew his driver's license, and it was good only for a year. And rightly so. People should be checked. By the time you get to 80, then that's fine. You just go and you don't have to take the exam again or anything. They just check your reflexes, your hearing, your sight. And to me, that's, good bureaucracy. It's safety. So. Oh, yes. Eddie is saying, it's so funny, Eddie. The things I say are just my observations. And Eddie, because his parents were Colombian and he's been living in this country now for 20 years, he knows these things verified. And I just go on hunches with a lot. But Eddie's saying that the Spanish spoken in Antioquia, especially in the Medellín area, which I'm still considered part of the area, is considered one of the best in Latin America because of everything I said. And this is just me noticing, and I don't even speak Spanish, but I'm noticing the pronunciation and it almost sounds like Italian. It's when I go to describe it to people, because I don't speak Spanish fast, I can just do it as sounds. So instead of it sounding like la 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 la, it sounds like la 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 la. So it has pauses, there's inflection, and it's so distinctly pronounced, and it does make it much easier to learn Spanish. There are some letter combinations that are a little bit different, which is interesting. We all know there's used to be a fast food chain in the US called Pollo Loco. So Pollo, I lived in California a long time and Florida, so a lot of Spanish speaking people. So Pollo in Spanish is pollo. Medellin should be Medellín. Pollo, Medellín, pollo. But, and you have to tell me, Eddie, if this is just in the Antioquia area or if it's nationwide, but the double L is pronounced more like a J sound, J, not ya, but Ja. So Medellin, sorry, getting tongue-tied, Medellin, pollo. Instead of pollo, it's pollo. So there are just slight differences like that. And then certain sayings, because of the formality, hola is not used that often. I mean, you can, super fast, super casual situation, but 90% of the time, it's buenos dias, meaning good morning, buenas tardes, good afternoon, buenas noches, good evening. And guess what, guys? It's not just that. Like I'm walking Petunia and I see a neighbor, or even a stranger. They don't say to me, oh, buenos tardes. They say, buenos tardes, ¿cómo está? How are you? Good afternoon, how are you? How lovely is that? So you answer, good afternoon back, I'm doing great, how are you? And that's what you say as you're passing by people. Sometimes they shorten it and just say buenas. And I'm noticing that with younger people rather than putting the dias, tardes, or noches after it. But it's still usually followed by, how are you? So very, very gracious culture. And I love that. Hi, Peter. Oh, thank you so much for your contribution. That's so sweet. Peter says, it's nice to see you doing well. Say hi to Huli and Petunia. Adela and I are missing you and wishing you all the best. Well, Peter and his wife Adela not only did a consult, but he did one of our, I think the first. I think you were the first. Yes, the very first. And we've done so many after. This was months ago, private relocation tour. So we took Peter and Adele all around this area, found out about them first so we knew what to show them, what not to make sure that their day was not only informative, but also just a lot of fun and enlightening. I mean, to really know whether this area is a good fit and to also point, because most people love it when they come here. It'd be pretty hard not to love it. I hate to say it, but it'd be pretty hard not to. But to then know after that day, like where they're interested in, what they want to look into as far as coming back here and eventually living and everything. So we take that tour very seriously. We customize it, and Peter really helped with that. You were our guinea pig, Peter, and we had a great day. It was just awesome. And I know you guys are coming back one day soon, and we can't wait to welcome you to this area with open arms. So this is the coolest thing. Oh, Kent's answering me. For some reason, I thought maybe it's just 'cause seeing the name Kent. I was just thinking of England. I just, for some reason, Kent, thought that you were in England or Ireland. So thank you for letting me know. You're in Georgia for many years, now in Florida for a couple months before relocating. And Kent is going to Envigado. Hey, Kent, I know that you want to, always continue to support my channel and my tours and everything, but you definitely have to go out for the day with Eddie Toro, who's in here and he has a channel. That is where his family's from. And I mean, he knows Envigado inside and out. Like, even if you've already picked your place and stuff, I mean, so he's just super, super knowledgeable in that area, a lot of areas, but there. So definitely reach out to Eddie. Oh, Chris, good questions. Hi, Chris. Do you plan to adventure to other parts of Colombia? Cartagena, that's on the coast, very tropical, beautiful. Enjoy your videos, dreaming. I don't know what, sorry, guys. Something happened to my complete. Hold on one second. Okay. Enjoy your videos, dreaming of spending time in Colombia, my mother's land. Oh, and hopefully you speak a little bit of Spanish too. If not, it's easy to pick up here. That's for sure. Yes, I plan on venturing out. And I've touched on this in other videos, but I'm going to tell you all that are here in the live right now. Petunia is now 16. She has had a mild, what was a mild heart murmur her whole life. I knew this because she had to have a minor surgery years ago. And it's something that gets progressively worse over time. So it's now to the point, and you can see she's been, where is she? Check on her. Oh, she's actually up. Hi, Petunia, sweet pea. She's being so good. But her heart is now at the stage where it's very enlarged. Hi, sweetie. She's still able to breathe and all that. She just doesn't have near as much energy. And so when I walk her, it's not the long walks that we used to do when I go out and about. And please forgive me too. I mean, I may have to start doing, more of these in my apartment and stuff because, just taking care of her. And we don't know what her exact prognosis is, but it's most likely weeks or months, certainly not years. And so for that reason, she gets really distressed when she's not with me. She used to be fine at my good friend's apartment. Now she gets really nervous. So, I'm not going to take her on a plane either. So that's kind of where I'm at. But someday I do plan on venturing out more in Colombia and going with friends, going out on my own. There are wonderful, just incredible places to visit here. So I'm not. I just wanted everybody to know that I'm not, purposely not trying to understand any other part of Colombia. And I think that this is just it and whatever. And I don't. I'm a very open-minded person, and I love travel. I'm just not able to do that right now. Boink 800 says, maybe you can get your family to move to Colombia. I wish. They're young and in their careers and working right now, but maybe someday. But that's another reason why I am just a 3-hour flight away. So they can come here, I can go there. It's all good. And main reason I don't have to work anymore. Oh, just the thought. I've said this before, but I don't want to be a Walmart greeter at 90. I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't. And I have all of that pressure off of me now. I don't even spend my Social Security. I'm building my nest egg more than I, ever thought that I'd be able to. And certainly over time, it's just going to give me even more security. So it's just a great place to be at in retirement. That's for sure. Wonka says, I know my 37-year-old daughter is trying to hold me here as much as she could. Well, I don't know if my daughter is still in the chat or not. She may have left. But yeah, it's shocking for your kids. I won't say otherwise. I just stayed steady and true and just gave them nothing but love and assured everything was going to be okay, that I'm in a safe place. And by golly, all these videos have certainly helped because my kids see how incredible it is here. And then I'm totally safe and I'm not in a third world country, and picking up diseases or, living on dirt roads filled with garbage or anything. I mean, Colombia is a super sophisticated country. Yes, there are very poor regions, I'm sure, which I haven't seen. But the area in which I'm at is very progressive and enormously clean. So I don't know. I'm sorry to do this. I have this itch on my nose. I don't know what it is. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. Henry asks, how does one learn about available apartments for sale? Okay, Henry. I did actually go into this earlier. There's no MLS system. So there are listing agents. If an owner decides to have an agent, a lot of them sell on their own. Those websites that you see are international websites that you see the listings. They're nowhere near what's available. A lot of it is super expensive. So you literally have to work with agents on the ground here in Colombia. You can establish those relationships. It's a good idea to do it in person first, because can you imagine? And I don't blame them doing all that work and sending you all these emails um, to build relationships with English speaking real estate agents, which are hard to find. Julie and I can help you with that. And then what they're literally doing is, because they aren't in this mainstream, there's no Zillow, there's nothing like that. So then you're going to get emails once you explain to them what you're looking for. But these agents represent only the properties that their office has listed. So that's very, very limiting. And again, it just takes on the ground people actually looking for you is the best way to do it. And I spent time here and looked in person myself. And I just knew, I just got fortunate. And I mean, I was told what a gem of a place that I got. And I just knew how perfect it was. And I knew to go ahead and take the leap. And even if it wasn't, even if, which I didn't overpay, even if I had, it would have been so well worth it because it was so inexpensive as opposed to places in the US. And I have, if you've seen my other videos, this amazing view, and I don't regret it. Any single morning I open my eyes, it's a different painting out those windows. So I don't regret it in the least. Our GP is saying that he uses a particular app to send money in Colombia, that dollar app. Yeah, that's kind of like a Venmo, but you need a cedula to have an account. Yes, to have any kind of bank account. Actually, to do a lot of things, even certain certain accounts and utilities and things like that, you have to wait for your cedula to get it set up in your name. But landlords are used to that, and they'll keep the utilities in their name. In fact, the water company, I'm on a mountain, so it's this weird aqueduct company, and they still have not put the water bill in my name. It's still under the name of the original owner. And she actually is now a really good friend of mine. She's this wonderful Colombian woman. I love her. But yeah, they still haven't done it. I just keep paying the bill. And Julie tells me, don't worry about it. That happens all the time with utilities here. So just pay it as long as it's paid, don't worry about it. But I've asked them over and over again in emails to please change it. I've sent a copy of my deed, everything, and they haven't done it, but no big deal. My water works. Oh, Katie, good question and welcome. You were living in Florida. Was it hard to adjust to the altitude? I thought for sure, because I have eustachian tube issues with my ears. I tried scuba diving years ago. I couldn't do it. I couldn't clear my ears. I sometimes have trouble on planes. I thought it would be related to the altitude, but when I was doing van life, I was at a lot of real high elevation places like in Colorado and stuff, and I wasn't getting altitude sickness. I felt the difference in breathing. You have to adjust because there's less oxygen. And then after a few days, you're not feeling winded, when you're hiking and stuff. But no, I didn't get that headache or nausea that most people get. It can happen. Some people get it, but it only lasts usually 2 days, maybe 3. I've never known anyone that had it severely. I know it can happen where, you feel like maybe you have the flu for a few days, but your body adjusts. But no, it didn't happen to me. I didn't have it at all. So that was fine. Oh, thanks, Play Play. Yeah. Oh, I always wondered, it says Nequi. I figured it was the name of the app. When I send money through Colombia, I do it through this thing. It says Nequi. And I'm sorry, I don't know if you're he or she. I'll say they're saying it's the Colombian version of Zelle. Yeah. So it's just an app, and you just instantly, so if you have a plumber or whatever and they don't take a credit card and you have to pay them $20, that's probably, I haven't had a plumber yet, but that's about what you would pay, like to fix your whatever. And they were here for, an hour and a half, 2 hours, it'd probably be $20 US. Instead of $200 or more. But yeah, so that's an app with Colombia. And Eddie is saying that he became a Colombian citizen back in 1996, and that was possible because his mom and dad are Colombian. So his route to his residency, and I'm assuming you have citizenship now. If you want to, you can just be a permanent resident. You don't have to take the test and like you do in the U.S. to become a citizen and go through the course and all that. You can stay here legally, permanently without becoming a citizen. But Eddie says, I was here as a tourist for almost 6 months before getting that. And that makes sense. Yeah, you can stay here for up to 6 months, even though the tourist visa is only good for 90 days. You can renew it for another 90 days. So stay up to 6 months. Oh, Rosa has two good questions. Are you worried about theft? Um, let's start with that question. So I'm going to say if it's like break-in, like robberies, there's never been a single robbery in my gated community. I've asked every single friend that lives in other communities, Colombians, expats, has there ever been a break-in? No. All the communities have guard gates. And again, I keep stressing this. This is the Hamptons of Medellin out here. This is where celebrities live and retired government officials. I think even the former president has a house here, someone told me. So it is ironclad, and I see police, and these are not corrupt police. These are good police. And then the traffic cops, by the way, are separate. They just do traffic tickets. But no, this place is ironclad, and not that there's major problems in the surrounding areas like at all here, but this place they make sure is kept absolutely perfect at all times. So I don't worry about it in the least. I go out and about in Rio Negro, El Retiro, let me say it right, El Retiro, La Ceja, all the surrounding pueblos, doing my videos with Petunia on one hand with her leash, trying to imagine this. I sometimes have Julia or Johan with me, but most of them I'm by myself. I'm holding on to the leash. I'm doing this. So I have this big iPhone, a big one, so the more expensive kind. And I'm walking through the streets with that, which I've heard in Medellin is not a good idea. Somebody snatch it out of your hand. So I've never felt unsafe here at all. So that answers that question. And let's see, what else did you ask? Oh, and medical emergencies. I have an incredible state-of-the-art hospital, like 20 minutes away. If you guys want to look it up, their main hospital is in Medellin, and they have another location in the airport area of Rio Negro, which the hospital is called San Vicente, Vincente. Look up the Rio Negro San Vicente and look at the picture of it. I mean, it is stunning architecture. I mean, this huge round entry that's all glass and gigantic and towers up the entire building. I mean, absolutely beautiful. The lobby's gorgeous. They will assign an English-speaking concierge. And by the way, this is all pennies on the dollar. I do explain this in another video. I only had travel insurance when I first came here, and my specialist in the US said I should get my blood checked. It was just a false alarm, I'm fine. But check your blood every 3 months just to be sure. So I had to get a hematologist, which they had there. And I had my lab work. They came to my house or my apartment way up here on the mountain for an additional $5 US. And then the 2 specialist visits and the lab work came to a total of $120, which it would have been thousands in the US. So I don't worry about medical emergencies. There are ambulances. And by the way, it's not 911. In Colombia, it's 123. There are ambulances. And, again, these are your choices. You can live in areas that have all of this close by. That's what I chose. You can go out, way, way out further from here. Prices drop. They're already really low here. But I mean, like next to nothing, close to free. But you're going to be far away from those kinds of services. So, those are decisions that, you need to make when you're moving out of the country. Eddie is saying Colombians love festivals. Yes, they celebrate everything, and the festivals here are amazing. There's a fabulous flower festival every year. There are religious festivals, meaning tied in with the local Catholic parishes that are unbelievably beautiful. I've missed the Christmas ones because I've been back in Florida, with my kids. But those are amazing too. But many, many wonderful festivals, just events. Like I was saying earlier, so many art events. Right now, this weekend, Eddie warned me. He said, you may not want to drive over to Llano Grande on Saturday or Sunday. There's a major air show with all these just state-of-the-art military aircraft and stuff. And it's popular. Families from Medellín come and all over. It's, I guess, an annual thing. And so there's always things going on here. You never be bored. I tend to be slightly introverted, but I do like to go out to smaller things. And there's tons of that too. If I'm ever in the mood to do anything and let's say I had no friends, I would not be lacking anywhere to go, anywhere to meet people, and have a nice time somewhere. So, oh, bye, Marcus. Marcus had to go. Take care. Thank you so much for joining. And hopefully I didn't miss a question, Marcus. And I'm sorry if I did. I'm trying my best to read everything. Oh, Eddie is correcting me, saying that there is local government corruption having to do with money, like, skimming off the top stuff. So, yep, and that can happen anywhere. But he's saying that bigger government is trying to keep a handle on that. So, your tax dollars, and it's true in the US too, you don't always know where they're going. Audra, hi. Nana, you have touched our lives. It's been a little over a week since I found your videos, and the Zoom call that I had last week has everything in perspective for me. Can't wait to book with Huli. You are so welcome. I so enjoyed meeting you, Audra. And we dove in deep, as I always do on my consults, talk for a really long time. And I'm so glad I was able to enlighten you and inspire you and give you a lot of the tools that you need in discovering, whether this is the right place for you. And then if it in fact is, which it sounds like it is or will be, how to go about that. So I'm so glad we met. And yeah, lots happened in just a week, Audra, but that's super awesome. Boink is saying corruption isn't in your face in Colombia, but it does exist. Yeah. And, Boink, it's true anywhere, but it hasn't affected my life personally. And again, guys, that's what my channel's about. I mean, I try to stay away from like major issues like that. I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm an A-type personality. I keep saying that, but when I do something, I want to do it really well. So my channel is telling you my experience. If it's certain things I'll look up and stuff, obviously, but it's kind of from my perspective, what it's like for me and the friends that I know and the neighbors I know. Again, my whole network of people, Eddie included, is part of my experience and what I've come to know here in my life here. Laura also says, just discovered your channel. I'm American Colombian, and yes, I do agree with you in the way we see both worlds. Hugs from Bogota. Oh, thank you, Laura. That's so sweet. Thank you. Oh, interesting. Boink says, today's useful trivia. Colombia is one of the 2 countries in the Western Hemisphere without birthright citizenship. Wow. So I don't know what that all entails. The other country is Cuba. Very interesting. So, again, that's not something that affects me. So I don't know what that means, for people that are born here then. I mean, I know that people, if they are, can come back and retire here, no problem. And also in Eddie's case, you have Colombian-born parents that entitles you to come here. Um, oh, Andre's having to leave. He has a time change. Thank you so much for joining us, Andre. I look forward to meeting you in a consult someday. And I'm so glad we could go over a lot of your questions today. You take care and have a good rest of your Sunday. Hi, G. G saying hi from Vegas. I'm sure it's a little hot in Vegas right now in July. But one thing I can say about the desert, I mean, granted, it gets really hot there now, but when you have heat with no humidity, you don't really sweat like you do in Florida. I mean, it's not so oppressive. It's hard to explain, but yes, you need air conditioning and all that. It feels hot. It's more like sauna hot as opposed to steam room hot. It's a different feeling. Not all that bad. Oh, thank you, Point, for pointing out the time zone. Yeah. Um, Actually, Colombia, in reality, is the same time zone as Eastern time because we are directly below like New York, Florida, all of that. However, Colombia and many countries in South America does not recognize daylight savings time. So right now, it's daylight savings time. So if you want to get technical, my time is the correct time. The US has kind of a false time, if you will, but it's recognized. So this time of year for me, not to confuse anyone, during half the year, so for 6 months, I'm actually an hour behind my kids in Florida. So if it's 11 a.m. for them, it's 10 a.m. for me. An hour is not a big deal. But I must say, that the other 6 months of the year, when it's not daylight savings time, we're on the same time. It's super easy to figure out. But yeah, this time of year, it's a little bit more complicated because of that. But I know so many people in the US want to get rid of daylight savings time. And a lot of states have said that they do, but it just can't be done. I mean, wouldn't that be crazy? I mean, I'm just saying this arbitrarily, but let's say Georgia has it and South Carolina doesn't. So you'd literally be going north, south, and you're just and you work in Georgia and you live just over the border in South Carolina. It's two separate times. I mean, that would be crazy. So, so yeah, I don't think it's going to happen unless it's on a federal level. Oh, hi, Francis. Nana, are you welcome to bring Petunia to doctor's appointment or similar appointments? I've never brought her to a doctor's appointment because it's my guess that because they have to be in a sterile environment, that it wouldn't be allowed. That would be my guess. So you just make friends, either expat friends, neighbor friends. I also, if it's a quick thing, like where I go to the dentist, it's a really nice medical building and they have underground garage parking. And Petunia, remember, she did van life with me. And even before that, she loves a car. It's like she loves it almost more than my apartment. It's like her safety nest. And she has a bed in there and everything. And she just sleeps when we go anywhere. And so for my dental cleaning appointment, she was in the parking garage. It's all well ventilated. And she just slept the whole time. So, and it was in the shade. And believe me, the shade in this part of Colombia is cool. Feels like air conditioning is on a little bit cooler than normal when you're in a parking garage. And then it's totally comfortable anywhere else. But yeah, that's what you do. So I would say that 95% of places you can bring your dog, and particularly in this region of Colombia, like everyone has a dog. It is so popular everywhere. The big supermarket chains don't, but Home Center, which is the same as like Home Depot, I can bring her in there. So very, very few places other than supermarkets. And I would, again, say medical. When I go to get my nails done, same place I go to get my haircut, uh, they allow her in. But I know in Florida, the place where I went, I couldn't because a health inspector could come in. I wouldn't want to do that to the owner of the salon, have them be in violation. So, but I bring her with me on my nail appointment, and her little bed that is in the car, if I am taking her somewhere, even a restaurant, I put that under my arm. Because Petunia is a little diva. She doesn't like to be laying on the tile floor or whatever the surface is. She wants plush. So I bring that in wherever I go. Oh, in Arizona does not have daylight savings time. How cool is that? Well, let's make it nationwide. That would be wonderful. Oh, but Boink said the Navajo reservation honors the daylight savings time. That's interesting. In that culture, you would think that they wouldn't want it. Wow, what a cool name. This is sounding like Irish or Scottish, so I'm going to butcher your name. I'm sorry. Lorena Galloway. Lorena Galloway. Hi, Nana. I love your videos. And actually, it was your apartment tour that gave me a fresh, positive perspective about Colombia. Love from Chicago. Well, love back at you, Laura. Thank you so much. My apartment, actually, because I am so up high, really shows the topography here in that view. But apartments that are lower, the view actually um, it's interesting with views. I have an airplane view, but let me tell you, when you're lower on the mountain and you see the view, you actually just see a lot more of nature, but you still have the big mountains, the big panorama and everything. It's just a different kind of a feel, but there's great views on all levels here in this region. I mean, it's just amazing. And especially if you're kind of up the hill or mountain above a pueblo, that is so pretty. Like I go pretty dark at night, way off in the distance. I see some twinkle lights, but there's something to be said to see like the cathedral, the church all lit up, and you see the little twinkle lights in the town. That's a pretty view too. G is asking about Social Security payments. Go to your bank and then to the Colombian bank, thinking of going back for retirement. Yeah, there's different ways to do that, whatever's more convenient for you. Um, you're supposed to, if you're here full time, change your address with Social Security. And it's not that they don't take away your payment or anything, but you can still, at least I do, I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, you can still have your check go into your US account and then transfer it over. That's not a problem. Oh, Laura Gonzalez says, thank you. My dentist lets me bring my dog to the appointment in Bogota. He sits on my lap. I didn't even think to ask, so I should ask my dentist. I should ask, yeah. That's so sweet to know. Yeah, I mean, Petunia pretty much goes everywhere with me. So that's fantastic. Awesome. Boink is saying send to your US bank. Yeah, I mean, that's what I do. I just kept the same automatic transfer into my US bank. And then and then I transfer. And by the way, for accounting and taxes and stuff, it's not like you have to move that money like once a month, like literally. I mean, if I don't spend all of it, so I sometimes don't remember to do it every month, but I try to. But I mean, you could just transfer it once a year if you need to. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to follow some sort of timing, if you will. Aw. Plants on Purpose says, Petunia is a little diva. One more reason we love her. Aw. I'm a marathon talker, guys. We're going on 2 hours and I'm still going. Eddie is so nice. And everybody's got to check out Eddie's channel too. Eddie is amazing. I mean, he literally will take a town or a neighborhood in Medellin and walk like every street. And I didn't have access to that. Either I didn't know your channel then, or maybe you were in India then, Eddie. I don't know. But I didn't find your channel till after I got here. So your channel was not part of my research of Colombia. But for those that literally want to walk down every street, and Eddie's advice is just priceless, having been here for over 20 years. So it's just awesome. But Eddie says, if anyone has come, oh, and his channel, by the way, is, you can see his name here, is Eddie Toro, Torro, and Eddie is with an IE. He says, if anyone has come into the live stream in the last 30 minutes, please do remember to give Nana's stream a like. Thank you. Thank you for reminding everybody to like the video. That's so sweet, Eddie. Owen Cash says, hi, Owen. I stayed in a hotel in Utah and they had a sign saying, checkout is 11 a.m. Utah time for people from Arizona who are not on daily. That's so cute. Yeah, it must be really hard when you're on a time zone, because I'm saying like, oh, daylight savings and multi-states would be hard, but it's always been hard for those that are on whatever that's called. Like, what are those? I don't know if it's longitude or latitude. I can't remember, but are on those time meridian lines, like that might work in one time zone and live in another. It must be really hard. Lorena Galloway, thanks to me. I said, I have no idea if you're he or she. I don't want to say one or the other. And so if you feel like letting me know, or just be gender neutral, you can. But I love travel and I love culture. So if you want to share with us the heritage of your name, I don't even know if you live in another country, but I'm guessing like Scottish, or maybe it's a Celtic Irish name. I don't know. I'm just guessing and I could be wrong, but I love guessing where people are from. And I don't mean it in no one's ever gotten mad when I've done that. And I do that actually, guys, with customer service. And I'm actually really pretty good at it with accents and things. And I'll say it in a really sweet way. I'll say, especially if I can tell what sounds to me like a Caribbean accent, but that could also be Africa, right? So I'm very careful with that. And I'll say to the representative, say, I hope you're unoffended by this. I just love accents and I love traveling all over the world. And you must be from Africa or the Caribbean is my guess. Is that true? And I love that. And we end up in a personal conversation. I guess I'm part Colombian because I get into these conversations with people, even total strangers on 800 numbers. Oh, thank you, Mercedes, for asking. This is helpful for a lot of people. What are the accommodations for ADA? I need to walk with a cane, and going forward, I may need a wheelchair. Is it ADA friendly? Well, Mercedes, there are some parts of Colombia that are more ADA friendly than others. Now, when you're in the heart of an old pueblo, and I even have a hard time with this, it's crazy. The sidewalks are only like this. Everything's cobblestone, which is kind of rickety. And then the sidewalks are smooth, but they're really, hundreds of years old. And what happens is you go up one person's stoop and it may be like a big drop down. So what I do is I walk on the street, not the sidewalk, because I have a trick knee and I've got a weird thing from a car accident on my pelvis on the other side. So I'm kind of just slightly wobbly. That would be very hard to do the sidewalks. But what I do notice are people like me, as well as people I've seen in wheelchairs or canes or even crutches one day. They're on the street, and the cobblestones, at least in my pueblo, are not like crazy. I mean, it's smooth enough, but we walk kind of on the edge of the road. When you're in a pueblo, when people are driving, I have never once, not like in Medellín, I've never watched anybody speeding down a road, because half the people are walking in the road and they're on the side. So the drivers, whether it's a motorcycle or car, they're very, very careful. I've never been worried walking on the street. But most of the new construction, like my apartment, they'll, regardless of the amount of floors, will have elevators. If you're in an older building, it may or may not. Older building, the law was, Eddie was saying 5 floors. So, obviously you couldn't live in a building that was, even possibly 2 or 3 floors with no elevator. So you just have to check on that. But lastly, and I don't want you to feel like you have to book with Hooli to get this answer. Feel free to, and I normally don't encourage people to do this. I do have an email address for business inquiries down below. But Mercedes, go ahead. I want to help you out with this ADA question, because Hooli's, I think, sister-in-law, pretty sure sister-in-law, is a relative of Hooli's, has a channel. She is handicapped, and she has gone to different cities and regions of Colombia and talks about, now it's in Spanish, but I'm sure you can get it dubbed or subtitled underneath. And she talks about how ADA friendly each area is. So, and if you ever want to dive deep on that, then you can do a consult with Huli, and she can actually have her sister-in-law, or I think it's sister, I can't remember. Anyway, her relative on the call as well, to provide you with the very best information on that. I do know that the pueblo that I live above, El Retiro, has a center, a community center for the handicapped, which is amazing. And I'm going to do a video there. I've been looking to find the right charity to promote. I'm a big believer in giving back. And my channel has, obviously it's been monetized now. I do the tours and the consults, and I want to get back. And it's an incredible center, and I learned about it from Huli. So I'm going to give a portion of what I make, and I'm also going to give information out if anyone wants to support that. But all sorts of handicapped people that they help, whether it's the blind, the mentally handicapped, the physically handicapped. It's an amazing, and it's for the local people. So it's just a great place. Boink says it's great to have the gift of gab. I know my throat's getting a little dry, but I can just keep talking. And it must come. I was actually really shy until I started working, and even before college, in the gallery world. Like, can you imagine, like, art gallery openings? Oh my gosh, I would be so hoarse the next day, because they would go on for hours and hours, and I'd be talking. And this is very relaxed talking, because I'm not in a crowd of people. I don't have to speak in a loud voice so someone can hear me. So I'm able to talk even longer for all you guys. Okay, we're down to 76 people. We still have quite a few people in here. Owen is saying having Petunia on your lap at the dentist may make you feel more comfortable. I know, like my emotional support animal. She would be, literally. That's really sweet. Oh, Eddie's confirming. Yeah, when I was researching, otherwise I would have found your channel, Eddie, but it just didn't show up. Eddie was living in India at the time when I was researching expat life. So that's why I didn't find his wonderful videos where he shows every single neighborhood in Medellín and all these outlining country areas, all in every direction outside of Medellín. It's just a really great thing. Thank you, Eddie. Oh, Owen's asking how long my cedula took. And this is going to go back to other questions, like what kind of pet peeves, or what were your pleasant surprises? And remember, I mentioned, I shouldn't even say a peeve, because I just let this stuff go. There's so many more pluses than there are negatives here. But one is some, like, things with like websites and digital things can shut down or go down, and it's not like fixed like in 2 seconds like it is in the US, and it can be an issue. Well, when I was getting my cedula, You should allow 2 months. It shouldn't take that long. Um, and it changes, and that's something Huli knows. Like I could ask her today, how long are the schedules taking? I mean, she does schedules for people, and she goes and registers for them and actually picks them up for you. You don't have to go back. Otherwise, you have to go back and stand in line and every week and wait and go up to the counter for them to check and see if it's ready. But she does all that, and she knows about the current time. When I went to do it, it was supposed to only take like a month, I think. But then their website their system that they use for the people in the offices changed. It was new software, and they were having to train and do like anyway. It ended up being 2 months. So I would allow for that, but it shouldn't be that long. It should be like a month. And if you have someone like Huli doing it, you're not going to have to wait, or if you can't go down to that office physically, that she's down there every week checking on all of her clients. And what she does is when you go and apply, you only have to go one time. When you go and apply with Huli, it has to be in Medellín. It can't be in my outlining area. You only go one time. It's a really long time. No one speaks any English. Thank God she was with me. And in addition to the application, getting my picture taken, all the steps, she also brought with her a form that was notarized that was an affidavit that gave permission for her to represent me during this process. So with that form, she's then able, she has those sheets of paper, or she has them digitally, I guess, and she goes back to that office every week, and whatever clients' cedulas are ready, she picks them up and she delivers them to you at no charge. So that's part of her visa service. She doesn't do just the visa. She takes it all the way through the cedula. So you're getting it the fastest it could possibly be, because she's constantly there and checking on it for you. And same thing with your visa. You're African American, Laura Enya. My mother and a friend created my first name. Oh, it's Hebrew. I was like way off. Derived from Hebrew, and it means born to praise God. That is so beautiful. The story of my last name is a funny one, Galloway. Well, but you didn't tell me what it was, but I can understand your privacy. That is so beautiful. What a beautiful name. I love it. And I'm so glad I pronounced it properly. Thanks for letting me know. Hi, Mike. Mike, you've commented before. You're one of my regular YouTube family members. And Mike says, I really enjoy your videos. Keep the good work up. Thanks. Oh, you're so welcome, Mike. Oh, so I did have the Irish right. Oh, yay! I win that portion of Jeopardy. Thank you, Lorena. Galloway is Irish. I thought it was Irish or Scottish. I just figured. And it's from my mother's first marriage. Her first husband was from the U.S. Virgin Islands. She kept her married name and gave it to me. Oh, that's so sweet. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And a lot of people, I love my kids' father. My mother always said, don't say ex, say former spouse or your children's father. So my children's father, that means they were divorced. We're still good friends. It's been decades. But anyway, his family goes back in Jamaica, like close to 300 years. They were like the first settlers there. But a lot of people don't realize that, during colonization, which was totally yucky, but you have in the Caribbean, you have Dutch countries, or not anymore. They're all independent, 99% of them. But you have Dutch origin, English origin, French, Spanish. The list goes on. So interesting, very interesting, Lorena. So an Irish name from the U.S. Virgin Islands. That makes sense. And not my ex, my children's father's family were Irish English from Jamaica. A lot of people don't realize that either. And when you live in the Caribbean, I've been there so many times, so many different countries, there are melting pots. Obviously you have your your African culture, and there is so much of that there. But there are in many Caribbean countries, there's people from India, people from China, and people from all over Europe, and it's a real blend. Oh, thank you, Robert. And hello. EMI and Doctor House make unlimited medical house calls, good doctors, and prompt service, about $25 a month. Yeah, medical insurance and things like that in Colombia are so inexpensive. That's good to know. Oh, how stable is the electric grid in in your region of Colombia? I spent 3 weeks in Boquete, Panama, and the electricity goes out regularly, sometimes for hours. Um, I'm in an unusual situation because I'm actually in a pine tree forest in the mountains and far away from everything. And the longest I've ever gone without power is 2 hours. And the reason that I go out of power probably once every maybe 3, 4 months, and again, it's usually on in less than 2 hours, is because of a falling tree. I mean, there's just these huge pine trees, and they do fall over, they do die, eventually, and they go crashing down. So that's what happens here. But, this whole region is, as I keep saying, it's like the Hamptons of Medellin. There are so many wealthy people here, so many retired government officials, all these people. The infrastructure here is unbelievable. So no, you don't have long periods of time. And in areas that aren't on this weird remote mountaintop perch that I happen to be on, which no one else is on, um, that you don't have issues. And if you do, it's not for long periods of time. When I lived in Florida, we had power outages all the time with the thunderstorms and stuff. And Florida FPL, I mean, here it's EPM, they're out like very quickly fixing whatever that transformer was that blew or, whatever. It's not an issue here to answer your question. And Plant says Boquete was beautiful. It is beautiful. It's just a lot more expensive than Colombia. Um, and that was my main reason. And then the other thing that I noticed, I'm just kind of an aesthetic person, and I noticed that this is style of architecture and things. I mean, there were like ranch style houses and things like that, kind of what like old Florida kind of stuff, back those like boxy things, and not a lot of high ceilings and like progressive architectural styles and things like that. So that combined with the how, because I wanted to buy a small house or apartment there, and for the price range I was looking in, it was really old, really dilapidated, low ceiling, funky. Would need a lot of upgrades, and I just couldn't afford it there. So that's why I didn't consider it. Oh, I see. So Robert's explaining this birthright thing. While this country recognizes citizenship by birth, it is conditional. Children born in Colombia to foreign parents do not automatically become citizens unless at least one parent is Colombian. Okay, so yeah, I'm such a dingaling, and I'm getting tired, I think. So yeah, that's what birthright means. So you can't just, and that's a good thing. I mean, somebody just can't, not going to be me. I'm past that, that stage. I can't come back to Colombia one day pregnant and give birth and then that child, at least not right now. I mean, I'm not, and I don't plan on being a citizen, just a permanent resident. So I can't give birth here, okay, guys, and have my child have a right to Colombian citizenship unless I had, wait a minute, unless my baby daddy was Colombian. But not having kids, not at almost 68, that's not going to happen. Oh, oh, and thank you for letting me know this. about ADA here. One thing I like about Colombia is they put a textured brick strip in the center sidewalk so blind people can navigate with a cane. Never seen anything like that in the US. That's really cool. And that's true in the city of Medellin and El Retiro, as I said, my area is very ADA friendly. They get around it. And in some of those tight little streets, like I say, it's more of a pedestrian street. You just don't see cars barreling down. So people just walk in the street. Oh, Diana's asking Eddie about Envigado questions. Eddie is a real expert because he knows that area so well. So check out Eddie's channel. He's got so many, he tours so many areas by foot and just walks every street. It's just awesome if you just want to absorb everything. And he explains he's just like me in that, he realizes that some people come to not really this region. It's mostly retired people, but people that come to Medellin, young people, particularly men looking to party and, all that kind of stuff. And his channel's not about that. And my channel's not about that. It's about having a peaceful life, a beautiful life, not partaking in anything illegal either. And that can go on in the big city. We know those things go on. There's drugs and prostitution and things like that. So yeah, we're not the party channel people. In this area where I am in, like all the restaurants close early, there really isn't any nightlife. I think in San Antonio, there's a couple clubs. Huli showed me where they were, because gosh, there are young people. They've got to go out and dance and stuff. But yeah, there's no crazy scene out this way. That's for sure. 8 paws and 2 feet. Well, I know how many dogs you have, or dogs and cats, 8 paws. I may have missed this earlier. Do you know if the airlines will fly extra large dogs? Yeah, I don't know what the weight limit is to Colombia, or will you have to drive them down, which is an enormous thing because, you have the Panama Canal there. So, coming through Central America, so you end up having to take a ferry to go around. It's quite an undertaking to drive to South America. Eddie is a major dog guy. He has all these rescues. He's amazing. Hi, Eddie. So I know you know the answer to this. Extra large dog getting from the US to Colombia, are there weight limits? How can 8 paws get his dogs down here? Eddie's going to take over on that one. Owen Cash is talking about, yeah, I used to be in Southwest Florida and Sanibel Island, one of the most beautiful places. And boy, oh boy, in the last few years, 2 major hurricanes. There was one, I don't even know how many years ago, like 25 years ago, it had a canopy of trees that just went all the way down the main road of Sanibel all the way up to Captiva. And they were all like down, like all the branches were gone. They were just like these sticks. And all of that did grow back. I mean, Mother Nature, particularly in Florida, it's so tropical and so much rain, that did grow back. But these last 2 hurricanes have really devastated. It's just such a shame. I mean, I'm a Florida native, even though I've lived in other parts of the country, and I was fortunate enough to be a snowbird growing up. So we left in the summer. But I can guarantee you that there were not near this many storms for decades growing up in Florida. I mean, there was maybe 1 bad hurricane on the East Coast, never in the West Coast. I think in history, like when I was a kid, there had only been 1 that hit Southwest Florida, like ever. And I think 1 or 2 in Tampa. Yes, they would go up to the Panhandle. Yes, you'd get one occasionally, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, West Palm, those areas. But a bad one, like once every 10 years, there's like bad ones and clusters of them. And the size of the storms, guys, I mean, I'm not here preaching global warming. You can say whatever it is, whatever you think the cause is, but something's happening, whether natural or humans contributing to it. But these storms are monsters. So, and I'm not here to talk about Florida, but they are monsters. They are like 10 times the size of any hurricane that's ever hit Florida as far as its radius. And yeah, that's another reason that I got the heck out of Florida too. I was sick of it. Okay, Eddie is answering Envigado questions, but I'm going to skip those because I know you're answering specific people. Yeah, Boink is saying that Darien Gap. I think there's a way, because I follow van lifers. There's a way to like get your boat, or excuse me, get your van or your car with your huge dog onto a ferry and get around that Darien Gap. There is a way, but I particularly, especially driving all the way through Mexico and South America, and just the infrastructure. And then you do have law enforcement that's corrupt in Mexico. I followed a lot of channels and still do. I love van life. There's major issues trying to get down south through certain countries to get to Colombia, so I wouldn't want to do it. Oh, Elle is asking if your PlayStation 5 will work there. Well, every place I've been, and even on my mountaintop, has fiber optic. So, I mean, my uploads and downloads of and I shoot in 4K on my iPhone, huge files of videos like that. So lightning speed. So you will have no problem getting great internet service for your PS5L. You'll be fine. CSR is saying, have you visited Bogota? I did say a little earlier, I have not been able to travel Colombia because Petunia, and I'm ignoring her because in a half an hour I'm gonna have to go. It will be 3 hours. She's normally used to going for a walk around 3 o'clock. So, but anyway, I'm wondering, why is she talking about that right now? I go off on these tangents. Oh, you're asking why you aren't going to Bogota. Petunia's 16 now. She has heart disease. Her heart's enlarged. She doesn't have the energy level that she used to. I would not take her on a plane now. She's not in any pain. I don't want anybody to think that I'm keeping, a dog in distress alive, which I am not a believer in. If a dog's in pain or can't breathe or distressed immensely, I would euthanize her, as horrible as it is to have to do that. But she's not having any issues like that. But she's not able to travel right now, and she's kind of in the final stages because of her heart. So, and we'll say hi to her. Okay, there she is. This my laptop is mirroring my image. So see how she's just like the whole time. She sleeps a lot, all of that. So that's why I'm not like prejudiced to Colombia. So few people are mean to me, but once in a blue moon, I get, like a weird comment. And so people are like, you live in this bubble and you just think, and you haven't. No, I don't. I'm normally not the type to live in a bubble. And no, but I have a senior dog, she's 16. So anyway, she comes first, and I know you guys can appreciate that. And someday I will. I do look forward to visiting Bogota. I want to be in Cartagena. I want to go to the Coffee Triangle, so many places. And I want to go to other places in South America. So stick with me, YouTube family. Because over the years, and by having this channel, I mean, I didn't think that I would have like another career. I mean, I was just doing this kind of as a public service thing, but now everything's like booming. And what am I going to do in addition to giving back? Because that's important to me here in Colombia. I am going to be able to travel, and I'm going to take you guys along to see other parts of Colombia and South America, and who knows where on the globe I'll end up. Just not every video, but from time to time, I hope to be able to do that. Eddie's he's answering a lot of people's questions about Envigado right now. But Eddie just says, no need to take my doggies for a walk, as they have plenty of space to run around here. but I normally go out for a 2-hour walk. Yeah, and Eddie has a lot. He's in Guarne, which is also outside of Medellin. It's a country area and it's north of me, but it's not in the city. And his walks are just stunning. He's in a beautiful area. And Eddie has several just beautiful rescue dogs. And he doesn't take them all on a walk at the same time, but he has different ones with him at all times. It's really cute. Oh, yeah, Robert's telling people, if you change your address with Social Security, we'll have to file, yeah, a blah, blah, blah form every 2 years. And, again, you don't lose your benefits, as Robert's pointing out. It's just a form you have to do. I still retain, as far as Social Security, because I'm back so much with a property that my daughter and I have. It's actually hers now in Florida. So I just use that address, and I've never been asked to do the form. I mean, if I have to, it's not a big deal. I mean, I certainly don't mind. But I also, it's important to have, like, if you have a relative, to have an address for mail. I'll give an example. It has not been 7 years since I stopped working and closed my business. So I could be audited by the state of Florida. I collected sales tax by the federal government. They don't email you. Things come snail mail, important snail mail, right? So I wanted to make sure I had an address. And for those that don't have a family member or friend, there are services that have a legitimate street address that will actually open and scan your mail, not the junk. But, and you can access that and see if you get something important. Heaven forbid somebody's suing you. Ugh, that would be awful. That's never happened to me, but no, there could be important mail. So, yeah, and forwarding does not work. Your mail does not get forwarded to Colombia unless you had a service, and then it would be sent DHL or FedEx or something. So anyway. Oh, Ed Pause is saying thank you. So Eddie must have answered that question, and I just didn't catch it, about the extra oversized dogs on a plane. Wow. Elle says, I'm a huge gamer. Once rated #1 in the world on a game called Lead and Gold. Oh my gracious. Once I join the server, my name's the only one you'll see on the leaderboard. That is so cool, Elle. Congratulations. Well, there is very, very high speed internet available here. So, and I'm sure Eddie told you that, so you don't have to worry about that. And you just don't go like super remote. Like if you're like really remote, which I'm pretty remote, but a developer built this, apartment community. I have fiber optic, but I know some people, I have a friend that bought a out in the finca, which is like a ranch or a farm. It's really cute out in the Union, and she got Starlink. So, and I don't think that's like super fast. So you just have to pick and choose where you go, but most places will have the fiber optic. Aw. Eddie is saying Petunia is puro amor y una hermosura, beauty. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, he's saying she's pure love and beauty. Thank you, Eddie. See, my Spanish comprehension is getting better. And I'll tell you why. This is my excuse, guys. I'm like going like this with my pen. This is my excuse. I do have one. I, starting in kindergarten, had 12, so actually 13, because I went through first year of university with my French, 13 years of French. And we are talking conservative French. We are talking like reading, writing, very little conversation. And when you did speak, you had to speak properly to the teacher. And the French language, although the roots, I do understand, and again, I'm understanding, the roots between like a lot of the English roots can be similar in Spanish. You hear that Latin root, same thing in French. But I will give you an example, the pronunciation. So you imagine 13 years and of growing up where I was like yelled at if I said a word too harshly. The French silence half of their letters in many of the words. So I'll give you an example. To say good It's spelled the same in Spanish and French. It's a B for boy, I for India, E for Edward, N for Nancy. The Spanish say bien, bien. That it's like it's just taking each one of those letters. Every letter is pronounced in Spanish too, and it's really emphasizing it. It's got Spanish language has chutzpah. It says bien, bien. In French, that same word bien is bien, bien. If you said bien, bien, or put that n at the end, oh no, teachers would freak out on you. And you barely even say the E. It is so soft. Again, I'll say it. Bien. Très bien. It's so soft. So I think it's just, and my teachers didn't have rulers. They didn't beat me, but they were strict. And I just think it's just keeping me from these pronunciations that are just so unfamiliar to me. But I am bound and determined to get past that. And I am understanding a lot better. Oh, Owen, thank you. Not to sound morose, but we will all miss Petunia when she crosses the Rainbow Bridge. I know. And I fear that's at some time soon. But she's been amazing. She had cancer twice and survived. I mean, you can ask my kids this. I mean, she's just the comeback kid. She's the Energizer Bunny, but she just doesn't have any energy anymore. Oh, I can't. I'm trying to lean and find her, but we can't. But she's right behind me. So yeah, I think the time is coming soon. But she's really, really happy now. She sleeps a lot, but when we go on our walks, she enjoys it. I don't take her way up the mountain road. So I'm just careful of that. But she's had no breathing problems. And her vet says that usually they don't, it does develop into congestive heart failure, but it usually is not an incident where like they can't breathe, and it's like really stressful because I'm so worried about that. I actually saw some YouTube and I was scared. He said, no, normally it's just like an instant thing, like during sleep, or she could just, fall over and go what looks like go to sleep, but cross over. So I know that's impending, and I will really appreciate. I know you all are going to support me during that, and you can kind of guess it if all of a sudden I try to do one and usually 2 videos a week. If there's a little lag in there, that's probably something that's happened. So. Jasmine said, yeah, you can get someone like trusted house sitters for Petunia. There's not much of that in Colombia. Again, networking is just super important. Dogs are and cats, pets are so big here. I mean, all you'd have to do is ask your neighbors, and they all will know of great situations for your pet when you travel. I mean, just absolutely awesome situations. You have nothing to worry about finding the right place. And there are beautiful pet hotels. I mean, gorgeous, all these birds on my balcony, gorgeous facilities and stuff if you're fine with kenneling your dog. Petunia just never has been. She came to my art gallery every day of her life. She's just never been alone much, so I never boarded her. I did, in van life, I used Rover, which was helpful. There were a couple situations in the state park where I wanted to go to a certain area. You're limited in national parks. There's certain like Glacier National Park, there's this really famous drive, and they don't allow you to have your dog. So in the town right by where I was camping, I found the most wonderful woman. She was fantastic. And she had like 100, imagine all the people with dogs coming to Glacier National Park that wanted to do that drive. She had literally hundreds of 5-star reviews. So I felt comfortable leaving Petunia with her for several hours while I went and did that. But yeah, they don't have any services like that in Colombia. Even though those are international sites, I did look into that, and there's not much here. Jasmine had someone stay in her home. Yeah, you can do that too. And again, I mean, how I define something like that would be through networking. I just have a dear friend that I've made in my building, and we just took care of each other's dogs whenever we had a situation. Petunia's beyond that now. She gets distressed if I'm not with her now, and I think it's because she realizes her heart problem's serious, and she's never been a barker, but now she'll bark. If she can't hear at all anymore. And if she can't see me, like if I went out and that's why I don't leave her in my apartment, even just go to, grocery shopping. She'll just start barking. She just wants me in her sight all the time. And I'm happy to do that for her. She's my little love. Laura Gonzalez says, I did live 20 years in the States, and I will always be grateful. Americans are kind, generous, and funny. But oh boy, I do enjoy more living in Colombia. Yeah, I mean, it's like kindness on steroids in Colombia. Luana Barros says, Nana, your videos are really helpful. Thanks for sharing your life experience in Colombia. You're so welcome. As I've said before, I love providing everyone with all the information I wish I had when I was doing my research. Um, and I'm still learning, which is cool too. So as you sort of follow my videos, I'm learning, discovering new things. So you can live vicariously through me. I'm kind of like 2 years ahead of you type of thing. So yeah, it's great. All the wonderful new things that I learn and experience every day here. Oh, Eddie, now that's way too long of a sentence. He just hit me with, I don't know, like 20-word sentence in Spanish. Okay, I'm going to tackle that one when it goes into replay, Eddie, and I'm not going to use Google Translate, and I will try to translate that one and get back to you. I'm seeing a little bit of it. I'm understanding a little bit of it, but I don't want to butcher it right now. Plants on Purpose says, I also took French for 6 years and my grandfather spoke French. Wow. I accidentally slip in a French word here and there when trying to speak Spanish. The struggle is real. Absolutely. That's so true, Plants. Yes, Boink is saying Colombia is a great country to learn Spanish in, and I agree because people are so polite. The pronunciation is so beautiful, and nothing is rushed. Every word is just sort of cradled and and honored. So it's at a pace and at a distinct speaking level that makes it easier to understand. Deborah asks, was it hard to make friends? I'm going to answer that, and we're going to get close, and you guys get to see Petunia. She does this before we go out. Ah, want to say hi? There she is. There she is. So I'm going to have to go soon. But so what was I answering? Oh, Deborah, good friend. Was it hard to make friends? Two things you need to do. Number one is join local Facebook groups. I found out about Hooli through Facebook. I made friends before I even got here. Those are expat Facebook groups. And I'm not saying you need to rely on, just people from the United States and Canada and whatnot to make friends, but they're going to be an enormous help for you. And the Facebook groups do get-togethers all the time. My local Facebook group here in El Retiro, we do, a lunch and a dinner pretty much every week. I'm not able to go to every single one. Sometimes I'm editing for you guys. I've become less social because of you guys, but way more social with my YouTube family. So yes, very, very important. And then to answer that question about making Colombian friends, it is like the easiest thing. I mean, I can't even tell you. Having Petunia was a big help because I'd be out walking and neighbors would notice, oh, a new neighbor. Everyone is friendly. No one just walks by like in the US looking at the ground. You want to get down, baby? Um, so you will find all your neighbors. It'll be like welcome wagon when you move into your building or your little house or something. And people are so warm and so friendly. And I've made very, very good friends. And more and more people speak English in Colombia too. I'm in a retired area, and retired professionals that have to learn English, for their careers. And so yeah, I would say like half my neighbors speak English well. And it's so sweet because no, and here's the other thing that makes it hard. None of my neighbor friends, none of my Colombian friends, they all want to practice their English. So they all speak English with me. I keep saying no, and they're like, no, you have to help me. They want me to speak in English all the time to them, so because they're getting better at their English. So that's another excuse of mine. Okay, guys, my neighbors are not speaking Spanish to me. They want to speak English to me. They want me to speak English to them. Okay, so I have issues. I have reasons why I haven't caught on to Spanish so fast. Oh, enough travel time about end of life. No, I haven't done a video on that. There are those types of facilities in the Medellín area. They are very affordable compared to the US. But I'll tell you what the tradition is in Colombia is if you don't have a family member that you hire a live-in. And the live-in pay in Colombia, because the cost of living is so low, would end up, I did calculation with a friend, and I might be wrong. Again, guys, call me on it if I did the math wrong or something, but it's really not very much money. It's like $500 a month. If that even that's, and it may even be less when there's room and board included, probably even less. So again, I'm just guessing, but I mean, you have somebody live with you, do your shopping with you or for you, uh, to, bathe you, change your linens, all those kinds of things. Now, if you need nursing care, that's different. There are nursing homes, but most of the time with the elderly, it's a home caregiver that's needed more than anything else. And I'm in a fortunate position because if something that bad happened to me, I could go back to the US and live with one of my children. I don't want to be a burden. I hope, that doesn't happen, but I do have that safety net, and I know not everyone does. So yes, I will do a video on that. I just need to do some research first and make sure it's super accurate. Laura says $1,000 in Bogota to live like a queen. I'm not sure if you're referring to that as a monthly in a nursing home or if you're just saying that's your cost of living there, Laura. Oh, Owen is asking, are there any language exchanges in your area? Yes. Yes, there are. And at cafes, there's another in El Retiro. There is Cuba, Cubo, Cubo. That's a cultural center. And I do the English conversation group. And that I do that, to help people with their English. But I have so many opportunities to have Spanish conversation. I mean, all the time out there and about. But you all are preventing me because it takes me so long to make and edit my videos. So that's another excuse why I really have slowed down. I mean, I was studying a lot more. I just don't have that much time, but I'm trying to, I'm obviously immersed in it all the time. So I'm getting better. Yash, that's quite a question. How much should a working professional expect to spend in Bogota per month? My US-based company is sending me there for a year. Any tips? I don't live in Bogota. You could reach out to Huli in a link below. She can do a whole analysis for you. She's my concierge, and she does that for clients all over the country. So you can check with her. She'll go over everything you need to know, including visas. If you need that taken care of, I would assume you're on a digital nomad visa, but people make mistakes with that all the time. She can make sure you do it right so you're not having to leave the country all of a sudden because something was done wrong. So I highly recommend her. But her concierge services, there's a link in the description for that. But I can tell you, if you have a US-based job and you're living anywhere in Colombia, that you're not going to spend anywhere near your income. I mean, you're going to be able to put money away for sure and live in luxury if you want to. Aw, Burgermeister, what a great name. You discovered me through Eddie's channel. That's awesome. And I know people have discovered Eddie through my channel. He says, Berger says, the two of you have been an incredible source of information. I'm 59 years old and thankful for your channels. You're so welcome, Berger. Oh, Coral is asking if you can get a loan to buy a home in Colombia. Not really. I mean, you'd have to be well beyond even residency, and that takes 5 years to establish credit in Colombia. So generally, I would say no, it would take quite some time to establish your credit here. Oh, good. Eddie is answering home care stuff because he just went through this with his mom. And again, Eddie's been here over 20 years, and I've been here not even 2 yet. Eddie says, my mom fell in 2022. We had to get home care taker for her because I couldn't do the work do it as I work. Oh, Eddie works online. Yeah. We paid $500 a month for 12-hour shift, Monday through Friday, plus 8 hours on Saturday. So I guessed $500 a month. That sounds right. And then, Eddie, I think what some people, because some people like their risk of falling, or let's say they have Alzheimer's or something and just not capable, and they need somebody there 24/7. I think the rate, I know for a fact the rate doesn't double because that person is getting free room and board too. So I think it's very reasonable to literally have a live-in in that situation if need be. Oh, and I'm sorry for your loss, Eddie. I know I've told you that before. Okay, well, I think I may have missed a few questions, but at that time where I got to take Petunia for a walk, and we're almost at the 3-hour mark. So I just really appreciate everybody joining in. Yeah, we had over 100 people at some point. Now we're down to 68. But yeah, little Petunia's gonna have to go do her little pee action. Oh, Francis says thank you. Everyone's thanking Eddie too. That's so sweet. Oh, you're so welcome, Boink. Oh, you're so welcome, Coral. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you being here. And I hope, any of you that joined late, the replay will be up, including the chat. So feel free to watch that. And there's a wealth of information, guys, in the full repertoire of my videos. I mean, I have so many, and a lot of them cover a lot of subjects. So the thumbnail might be a little deceiving. So, as you have time, just peruse. And I'm not trying to gain views. I'm just trying to help you. And as I've said before, my consults are really helpful, as well as Hooli's, because I can then find out about you, your specific needs, your lifestyle, all these different things, and tell you, number one, if it's a good choice. Number two, what areas should you even be considering? Where you should go, where you should stay. I mean, I have certain places that we've vetted as I know are fine in hotels, and little by little, I'm learning about Airbnbs when they come down. Because let me tell you, anywhere in the world, Airbnbs are risky. And I've had some really crappy ones in the world that were very expensive, and they were awful. I mean, so bad. So, I mean, you wouldn't want to book coming down here for 10 days. which is prepaid, and then get in a dispute and you have a horrible situation. So we're working our way through the Airbnbs too, vetting them. So we just try to help you as much as we can to make sure that your stay is comfortable and that you have all your answers. Like if you come down for a tour, you have all of those answers, on that one visit. And it's always good to have time after your tour because, especially if you're looking for neighborhoods to live in, that kind of thing. So then you have a few days after, so you can revisit on your own and have even a better feel. So that's basically, everything that I do in addition to the videos are the consults, Huli and I, and then the private relocation tours. And they are a fun day. They really, really are a fun day. So feel free to click the link for that too. Aw. Oh, you're so welcome, Elle. I can't wait. So everybody, I'm going to say bye for now so I can take care of little Petunia. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to sharing another video really soon with you again. And everyone take care. And you know what I always say, that, this is the first day of the rest of your life. Every morning you wake up, is a new day. You can change at the spin of the dime. You can try something new. It's if you try something, it doesn't work out, you make sure you have a little bit of a nest egg. Make sure you can turn around or go somewhere else or whatever. But decisions like this, they seem really heavy, but they're actually not. I mean, you're just after, again, as I say, living the best life that you can for the rest of your life. And we seniors have that biological clock ticking. And, I wanted my life as rich and fulfilling and stress-free. I didn't want the financial stresses that I had before. And I feel this huge weight off my shoulders living here. And I'm really enjoying every moment of it. So thanks, guys. Love you all. See you again very soon. Have a great Sunday evening. Take care. Bye-bye.